race stuff, okay? Just come on. Like, what are we doing? And by the way, you would achieve more of your aims if you stopped the race stuff. This whole open board.
You would achieve more of your aims if you stopped with the race stuff. He's going to get completely one-shot by their new messaging. Because guess how they've shifted their messaging. They've shifted their messaging to, oh, we were very close to our full cultural takeover. However, there's still too many people against it. What we need to do is stop making white men feel excluded and demonized and bring them into the fold so that they can help us usher in the cultural transformation too. YouTube stream died? Wait, why? Wait, why? YouTube emergency, why? I didn't get any emails about them, like, fucking ganking my stream. Is it like some weird, just like YouTube dip, or YouTube did a death thingy? Anyway, here's stream. Yeah, I have no idea why it would have gone down. I mean, I have no dropped frames or any issues on my end. Usually, new stream auto-created? Really? It went down so hard it created a new stream room? That's really fucking weird. That's really fucking weird. It was the quartering! Bro, ain't no way. What the fuck? Why did the YouTube stream die? That doesn't make any fucking sense. I blame Jeremy Hambley from the quartering. What the fuck? Spydrick1cam, thank you for the 5 gift subby bubbies, my guy. Thank you. The quarter pounder strikes again. What the fuck was even that? I need a link to the new YouTube chat room though, please, Mr. Moderator. The Hamburglar strikes again. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea why my YouTube stream would have gone down at all. That doesn't make any sense. There was nothing on my end, so it had to have been a YouTube issue. The New Hampshire Bill 1706 was taken to the State Senate Health and Human Services Committee. A 5-person committee had a 5-0 vote, calling the bill inexpedient to legislate, meaning it was unwise or wouldn't pass. So it never made it to the floor of their Senate and was killed by a 5-person committee. That is why Victoria was saying she would look into it. Okay, thank you very much for that information. That seems really silly that a Health and Human Services Committee could vote without the senators to just kill the bill? Isn't that a conflict of interest because the Refugee Resettlement Office is within the Health and Human Services offices as well? That seems really goofy. Colonel Barbecue, thank you for the 2 months of Prune, thank you. He noticed who's on the committee. I have no idea. That's a great question. That's a great question. Bet that committee is 100% commie. That makes me want to go back. Crawler, my guy, thank you. Butter that dog, fox woman. I gotta get the good butter for the good dog.
That dog, fox woman.
Alright, stream chat. Thank you for the pop out. I want to read my YouTubers. Let's paste that in there. Bam! I can see you again, YouTube! B Jammin', thank you. The reason why Atlanta is Atlantis didn't work is that Atlanta is Agartha, and the Snow Aryans at the gate of Agartha saw who was chanting and said no! Clearly, we need to go to a mountain in Georgia and start chanting Agartha to open up the Agarthic portal. I never know, a couple could be peacefully religious too. Will Stancil, use your Agartha shield. Wastelander, thank you. Decornering, take that fox lady. Seconds later, fight. Will Sexton was a leftist a few years ago, and people found his old account where he posted nudes. This was news like a year or so ago, just saying if anyone here got turned by Kirsche and wants to see bare man ass. What the fuck? That trooper, thank you. Anyway, here's stream. Yeah, we're back. Shawookie, thank you. We're back from the base pro shop bunkers. We came back. The pyramid was glowing. Let me copy this link, Mr. Bives. Mr. Bives, thank you. Health and Human Services, Chairman David Rochefort, Vice Chairman Kevin Avard, Regina Birdsell, Suzanne Prentice, Pat Long. How can these 5 people... How can these 5 people have killed the bill all by themselves? That's kind of crazy. Let me go to... I want to go find Travis's post and ask a question. Questions are how you get places, man. We gotta summon the will of Yakub. Peace be upon him! True and real. Let's find the Travis man. That's that fucked guy from Florida. That's that other guy. That's that other guy. Other guy. Other guy. VTuber guy. Other guy. Other guy. Where the fuck are you? Oh, did I just randomly find this and it wasn't even in my bookmarks? Travis. This fucking guy. Do 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 do. No. 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 Where are we? Where's this post? Do, 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 do. What the hell is this woman? Damn. This woman has nuts lips, dude. Look at this. Look at this lady. I'm just trying to find that post earlier. If you click into their names there, it has a little blurb about them, their contact info at the state house, and the district they represent, and what other committees they're on. Oh, fuck. Democrat Rep. Yvette Clark said she needs more illegal immigrants in her district for redistricting purposes.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about,
we got to make worse life for African Americans in this country so that we can bring in more people. What the fuck is this woman?
The doors of the inn being closed. No room in the inn. I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a...
Yeah, literally just the quiet part out loud. Yeah, we need more illegals for redistricting. We need them for their votes, actually, but they're not voting. Shut up. Heretical King! Man, you just fucking mushroom stamp it. Thank you for the huge fucking 50. Mans didn't leave a message, man. Of course, they need their votes, right? Alaska Mac, thank you. Live stream just got interrupted by an ad. That's really weird. I have a ad set to manual, and I don't play ads manually during my stream on YouTube, so that's really weird. That's really weird. We're reaching critical levels of quiet part out loud. We truly are. So I can click on people. Chairman David Rochefort. District 1. Atkinson and Gilmanton Academy, Grant, Bath, Benton, Berlin, Bethlehem, Cambridge, Carroll. That's a lot of fucking places. Holy shit. Current committees, Chair, Health and Human Services, Election Law, and Municipal Affairs. Well, serving his first term in the New Hampshire... hopefully his last. Hopefully his last, unironically. That's crazy. The 3 Republicans, District 1, 12, and 19. I love that New Hampshire truly has 4 seasons and look forward to taking part in our many outdoor activities with my family. Man. Bro's literally a pill pusher. Oh my god. Alright, back to trying to find that post from Travis again. Minor point to note. That's not it. Manchester is facing a $10 million annual education funding cut under a recently passed law that impacts no other community. Representative Erin Kerwin shines a light on how Republicans in Concord are harming local taxpayers and cutting services to students. I don't know, a $10 million education funding cut sounds fucking great for taxpayers, actually. You gotta vote to reduce the school budget, actually. Chai Teak, thank you for the proom. Thank you for prooming, my guy. Really? I still can't find it? I'm fucking losing my mind. Him just asking to deport Pramila Jayapal? I mean, honestly. Oh, here we go. Okay, I found it. I found his post. And I have a question, alright, because we saw We saw, here it is, response to Victoria Sullivan. City of Manchester Refugee Resettlement Advisory Committee Report, May 2006. I have a question. Alright. Essaying. I'll make sure to untag other people. I just want to ask that question. No BGM, only typees. True. Kirsche wasn't making any noise and a group of bats screeched in game and that you're playing. You thought I had a hiccup fit. That's a long ass question. Well, you know, the only way I'm going to get an answer, the only way I'm going to get any information is if I ask the question, right? Better to ask question than stay ignorant, as it were. So, hello, where are the bananas and rice? So I said, I have a question. How is it that a 5-person committee in Health and Human Services, isn't that where you were trying to cut the Office of Refugee Resettlement from, can unanimously vote to prevent the bill from actually getting voted on by the members of the Senate? I will certainly encourage people to reach out and make the case for how this bill should go forward, but want to understand the process here with the committee and how it is not some kind of conflict of interest. Thank you. As, you know, just get some questions. Alaska Mac, thank you for the 10 months. Foxu, many of us are now getting ads interrupting live stream on mobile. Please fix. It makes live streams unwatchable. Huh. Well, let me go back, because I shouldn't have anything happening in the middle of stream. Let's see here. Let's dismiss that and go back to where I'm live. Yeah, monetization on, ads automator off. And I frequently get the, like, flag. I don't see it while I'm streaming because I don't look at my dashboard. But I have the flag up top that says, like, you know, the urgent exclamation point. Automated ads help you earn more while optimizing the experience for channel members. Learn more. I just have that shit off. The only time you guys should be getting, like, absolutely assault raped by ads is when my live stream ends. Until Ziz goes in and fixes the ads, YouTube adds, like, literally hundreds of ads to each VoD. So he's had to go in there and, like, manually fix it. Ads were on, but you turned them off? What the fuck? Why were they on? Why were they on? Mid-roll livestream ads were on for part 2 of today's YouTube stream for some reason. I wonder if that happened just because it was, like, an auto-created room. They're trying to fucking leech ads out of me. What the fuck? She hates him specifically. Skewky, but she knows the weakness of her flesh disgusts her. Huh. You like Kick's emoji and chat setup better than Twitch? Only had it for Asman? I think Twitch and Kick chat are pretty much the same, aren't they? YouTube doing some fishy shit. Always are. Always are. I just don't trust him. I don't trust him. So we'll see if Travis gets to answer my question. We'll get to see. We took a little bit of a detour. Back to this fucking guy. I was saying, it's really funny that he says...
Stop it. Stop the race stuff, okay? Just come on. Like, what are we doing? And by the way, you would achieve more of your aims if you stopped the race stuff, this whole open board.
And like I was saying, that's exactly the language that they're shifting. They realized, hey, we need white men to help us usher in the communist revolution. We can't just keep pushing them out and telling them that they're evil, even though they actually are. So we need to figure out a way to lie to them efficiently enough that they will also walk in lockstep with us to get our cultural desires pushed into the mainstream. And they just admit this out loud. They just say this. You don't need a crystal ball. You don't need to infer. You don't need to assume. You don't need to hypothesize. They just tell you that's what they're doing.
Our early models, here's the other problem, were binary. Remember how we grew up? You were white or you were black. You were old or you were young. You were male or you were female. You were American or you were immigrant. You were liberal or you were conservative. You were gay or you were straight. That was a binary world. We built our platforms, our ways of thinking about diversity and inclusion. We thought about it in binary terms, and that just doesn't work anymore. Interest in diversity goes far beyond traditional differences. There are now at least 30, and I'm saying 30 different recognized dimensions of diversity. Things have changed over 30 years, and business, HR in particular, has done a very, very poor job communicating this change, much less responding to it. So, my friends, it's time for a revisit, a reset, and re-envisioning of DE&I.
As a reminder, this was back in 2024 when SHRM dropped the E for equity from their acronym. And it caused a lot of true believer acolytes to flip the fuck out because they didn't know what to do without one of the important stimuli to react to.
You don't need to eliminate it. For those CEOs who says DEI must die, they are lunatics. Like, that is insane. Of course we have an incredibly diverse workforce and we need this work. We're only going to become more diverse. But we do need to rethink it in 21st century terms. At SHRM, for example, we now refer to inclusion and diversity. We're going to keep it.
Once again, just in case you haven't been here for a lot of the other streams where we've gone through all of this bridge and SHRM stuff, when they say diversity, quite literally, embedded in their white papers, they say, in no uncertain terms, means less white people. That is what diversity is.
We're going to become more diverse. But we do need to rethink it in 21st century terms. At SHRM, for example, we now refer to inclusion and diversity. We're going to keep it simple. Yes, we're going to always focus on D, but we're going to lead with inclusion because we need a world where inclusion is front and center, and that means inclusion for all, not some people. Everyone has a right to feel that they belong in the workplace and that they are included. And if we think the game that we've played over 30 years, which is to make some people feel badly about what they have done or their ancestors have done or whatever.
I wonder who those some people could possibly be. We may never know.
If you think that's going to solve a problem, it didn't work over 30 years. So by definition, we've got to adapt a new approach. We're going to channel our inner buffalo, right? And help our workforces and our society get to the other side and realize all of the benefits of our wonderful diversity, because our diversity is our strength. And anyone who doesn't understand that doesn't understand business. But let's be clear, putting a strong focus on inclusion and diversity right now is going to take some courage. In fact, I can imagine right now I'm going to be attacked online right now, this second, because there are people who think, let's kill this thing. We want it to go away. My friends, we can't be intimidated, but we have to have the courage of our knowledge.
Spicy cat raid. What the hell is this spicy cat raid?
IND must work for all employees, businesses, customers, and the economy in our society, and we have to prove it. We're going to run headlong into this truth with everything that we've got, and I need your help.
I like that frame that his face is making. But people like this guy are going to get absolutely one shot by the messaging above. They're going to see, oh, wait a minute, these people realize that they can't actually be racist like they have been. They realize that denigrating white people in general, and especially white men, is actually bad. See, they really were just retarded, but now they're going to include us and everything can be great. I could not imagine being that super-brained to, like, think that anything you just heard would be genuine. If you had a time machine, you'd go back in time and have a talk with Karl Marx. Labeling everybody and separating them is so backwards. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, just listening to the way he spoke, I was like, this messaging is going to get a lot of people And that is so very unfortunate for those of us trying to fight against DEI, because they put this messaging out years ago. Again, this is from the SHRM conference in 2024. Bridge has been talking about this kind of inclusion since 2023. This has been planned. This has been in the works. Anyone just coming out now is very far behind. Just because Pol Pot isn't currently saying he wants everyone wearing glasses to be executed doesn't mean he stopped wanting that. True. Nano USB, they give it 20 months. Today you made your pizza dough with half wheat, half rye. It looks goofy, but tastes nice. Needs way more water, though. Rye is thirsty, apparently. That sounds like it could be delicious. It's simple. The dude wants to be a communist. He just doesn't want to be a gay racist. So if the gay race communists drop the gay racism, he'll be completely on board. What a retard. Professor John Wolfman, thank you. Or you could do your job and go home. You don't have to be best friends with everyone. It just makes me think of, like, the equilibrium world where, like, everyone has to pay attention, and if somebody's exhibiting emotion, you must turn them into the government. Professor John Wolfman, thank you. Or, I read that already. How did I forget that I read that, like, 3 seconds ago? So, that was another tweet I wanted to bring up, because, like, holy fuck, how does this keep happening? How does this keep happening? And you rated in the middle of the video. Sorry about that. Draken Koenig, thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Albion Awakening, thank you for those fucking bits, guy. Thank you. Thank you for the biddies. Sometimes 3 seconds can be a long time after all. It really can be. Unironically. You don't get why the left believes every single little thing from their government side with the Dems. People trusting the government every move is wild. Yeah, I don't really know either. It seems like literally everyone should not trust the government. And I hate the left for making me defend the feds in any way, shape, or form. But holy shit, ICE, get them out, deport more. Speaking of deporting more, we have more Democrats wearing Republican skin. There was the House voted 224 to 204 to pass a 3-year extension of the temporary protected status for 350,000 Haitians living in the U.S. 10 House Republicans plus 1 independent voted with Democrats to pass it. And we obviously have Rep. Maria Salazar, the liar-in-chief, saying that her amnesty bill isn't actually an amnesty bill. Rep. Don Bacon, Republican Nebraska, I think is any. Unfortunate that he has a cool last name, but he's a cuck. Rep. Brian Fitzpatrick, Republican Pennsylvania. Representative Carlos Jimenez, Republican Florida. Nicole Maliotakis, Republican New York. Mario Diaz-Balart, Republican Florida. Mike Lawler, Republican New York. Mike Turner, Republican Ohio. Rich McCormick, Republican Georgia. Mike Carey, Republican Ohio. And Kevin Kiley, Independent, California. Democrats broke out into applause after it passed. These are very important people to remove from their seats of power. Very important people to run against and try and win. With representatives like this, who needs communists? Gotta ask, what the hell is foreskin denial and why is it in the tags? Please don't take my foreskin! If I remember right, it's because I was saying something in defense of having foreskin and a lot of people thought I was, like, against it for some reason. So somebody asked, like, why I was practicing foreskin denial or something, and so it just became a tag. I can't remember the full fucking story. Kevin Kiley used to be a Republican, though he never was. And this is also the thing that fucking tans my hide. If you have all of these people who are essentially Democrats, but they have a red color on them instead, which, you know, ironically, communist color is red too. Why is it that so many people start reeing like banshees when someone else, like, say, Jeremy Kaufman, posits that maybe we should run libertarian candidates as Republicans since it seems like a free-for-all for every other political party? Why are there people who ree like retards? Because it just seems like that's a winning strategy. Why would we continuously let Democrats take over Republican seats instead of trying to put people in Republican seats who actually want to do something for the good of this country? Because people are fucking retarded. I've never even seen any Haitians. I guess that's why they decided it was okay. If there's no Haitians, it should be even more okay to stop it, right? Because they're retards, you answered it. You've been saying that for years. Kaufman got it from you. Both Dems and Republicans wanted to be blue because red was associated with commies. Dems won the blue color. It's time to become purple. Man, because most people aren't that into politics to know that. I guess, but it's like, fuck, dude. Representative Nicole Maliotakis, Republican New York, tells Fox News why she voted yes. Look, I have a lot of healthcare workers in my district that are of Haitian descent. Hot take, I would not want to see a Haitian doctor, brother man. That are on TPS and my nursing homes. My healthcare facilities have said that they're going to lose skilled staff at a time when there is a shortage. If someone checks their parent into a nursing home staffed with Haitians, that person hates their parent. That person wants to hasten the time with which their parent dies. That's like, what are we doing here? Nursing homes, that's not good, right? Like, what the fuck? And so it's the right thing to do for my district, for the healthcare facilities I represent. And plus, you're going to send these individuals back to a country where it's still in peril. Yeah, not my country, not my problem. They had temporary protected status. Send them the fuck home. It doesn't make any sense. I think that there needs to be a thoughtful approach. The thoughtful approach is deport them. The non-thoughtful approach is what comes after you don't deport them. What are you talking about? New Hampshire libertarians act like 12-year-old children who have been left home alone for the first time, though. I would very much disagree, but I would say partially. Right, because New Hampshire libertarians unironically are people who are getting things done. And I think also recognize that sometimes when people are using your principles against you, you have to say, okay, then you no longer get the benefit of my principles because you don't believe in them and you only use them as a way to defeat me. So, yeah, there are petulant children in the Libertarian Party in New Hampshire, but you're gonna find that pretty much fucking everywhere. Imagine how much faster things would get fixed in Haiti if they had 350,000 more people. Exactly.
You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl.
And if these are supposedly skilled healthcare workers, wouldn't they be much more of a boon to Haiti than here in the US? Walla Walla Bing Bang, thank you. There's actually an in-depth video on the people who re against winning on the right. There's a large portion of conservatives that don't actually care about the end results of their actions. They just care about doing it the right way. They're idiots. That seems like a very idiotic thing. If you remember correctly, in the 70s and 80s, the colors were Dems red and Republicans blue. The media switched them in the late 80s or early 90s. I would have no idea if that's true or not. Is there any rep or dem against age verification? That's a great question. Skilled healthcare from the third world, lol. Vladimir Crystal, thank you. Don't say you're running as a Republican. Instead, just do it like Democrats. Ignore anything and everything else. A Bobberson, thank you. My shortage, importing workers causes the shortage. They saturate the market. It closes job openings, and that incentive is getting trained. And it's also like, yeah, sure. If let's say you have 50,000 healthcare workers that are going to get removed when you do a massive deportation effort. There's going to obviously be a shortage of workers for a temporary period of time. That might cause some delays. That might cause some hardship for a temporary period of time. But it's like, when you get sick, you feel like shit. And when you start taking medication, you tend to feel even more like shit while the medication is attempting to help you fight the disease or the cold or what the fuck ever. That's exactly what's gonna happen here too. There is going to be an uncomfortable transition period. There is going to be higher prices in some areas and shortages where you can't see a professional in certain areas. That's just going to happen, but it's going to get better from there. Because you'll have actual Americans getting trained, actual Americans getting into those jobs, and it'll get better afterwards. That's just how it is. That's 50,000 new jobs opening up. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. The opioids feel pretty good. The people in charge are boomers. They squeal and ree at the thought of anything that inconveniences them for even a moment, you know? They could always rehire the people they fired during COVID. I would actually go ahead and say that even more so than boomers, people in the like millennial and zoomer age bracket are even more adverse to any kind of like supposedly temporary hardship, right? we've been called the generations of instant gratification, and where we can't get instant gratification, people have just tended to give up. That's why dating is suffering. That's why a lot of fields that Americans used to go in for jobs are suffering, like the trades. You can't just have instant gratification everywhere, man. And it seems like that's been purposefully trained into the younger generations, because if you're used to the instant gratification and you're not used to delayed gratification, you are going to be adverse to any kind of temporary hardship while things get fixed. You'd much rather maintain the status quo and continue having everything be convenient. The trades are still filled with boomers. The trades are still filled with boomers, and I hear that they are, tending to be, like, the actual people who do the labor are more right-leaning, but in, like, the union seats, most of those people are left-leaning, which is kind of funny. And train the next gen to understand the benefits of delayed gratification? Absolutely. You haven't had instant gratification in 20 years, it's driving you crazy. You work in a trade, it's destroyed your body and driven you into depression. It's not as great as boomers behind executive desks pretend, you know? They refuse to train the next generation and see them as competition. That's really weird, because, like, if you don't train the next generation, they're just going to, like, the people who replace you aren't going to be as well equipped. Commie unions are left-wing. No fucking way. Cheeky, thank you. Hey, Kirsche, boss put a hat LAN in your crew long time ago. No English or Spanish, which you speak both. One day, he opened a live fire hydrant on you, and luckily you're only hit with water and not the metal cap. Oh, you must be mobile posting. A Haitian. I was like, what the fuck is a Hatlan? What the fuck's a Hatlan? That's really unfortunate that somebody was put on your team that doesn't speak English or Spanish. Hot take. To get a job in the United States of America, you should have to speak English. Vladimir Crystal, thank you. You've been in temporary hardship for your entire life! How could anyone say that? Your generation has been paying more and more taxes than ever. Wake up, people. They're literally hurting us. Because you get the instant gratification of the things that don't really matter, right? Like all of the like high-speed, short-form content, the ability to order your food to your house even though it costs like $7 trillion to do so, right? Like you see all those people on Caleb Hammer ordering like DoorDash and Uber Eats over and over and over as they're falling further and further into debt. That's the instant gratification. And to most of us, it's just like, that seems really stupid. Why would you waste money on that when you're in debt? But that's kind of what's happened here. And especially where people don't see how much they're paying in taxes, and when they don't pay attention to where their taxes go, it's like out of sight, out of mind, unfortunately. Yeah. Ferret Rose, thank you. In 2024, we were going after Haitians in Ohio for eating the dogs and the cats. I swear we memory hole things too quickly. Fucking rhino Republicans. Yeah, some people were like, that's actually been proven wrong. They weren't eating dogs and cats. But then there's videos of people spiriting away dogs and cats. And it's like, well, what do you think they're going to do with them? There's the video of that guy who stole like geese or swans from the park. I was like, do you think he's bringing them home to raise them as loved pets? Like, what are we doing here? You're gonna say you've been in hardship your entire life and you're tired of it. Yeah, same. I hate having the ability to perceive. Sometimes I think life would be so much fucking easier if I was just blue-pilled out of my mind and didn't pay attention to any politics. But that was from a different city, actually. Sean Hoogland, thank you. Hi, Kier. Thanks for splitting the VoD. That'll let you download it so you can listen to it writing on a range without phone signal. I didn't do it on purpose! The ducks and geese in the park are free. Are we not supposed to eat them? Oh my god. In the trades, it's every man for himself. You want the foreman to take you to the next job? There's 6 guys on this one. He needs 3 for the next one. You don't want to be the guy on unemployment struggling to pay bills. Trades are cutthroat, and boomers use their experience to screw you over when they already have their house paid off. That seems kind of goofy. That's kind of goofy. It's the guys that take the blue pill, Kirsche. I'm sick of it. Binary Ghost, thank you. By reading the Super Chat, your luck will no longer be neutral. Thank you, Super Chat Fortune Cookie. Wastelander, thank you. Damn, Ed Hat landed, taking our jobs. The people on Caleb Hammer make you not feel bad for spending a shit ton of money on Warhammer, right? I just like that show makes me realize how much worse everyone is than I previously thought. It's super illegal to harm a swan in the UK. They're all property of the crown. Nice. Nice. This person finishes off saying, it doesn't make any sense. I think there needs to be a thoughtful approach. And if these individuals are here paying taxes, working, contributing to our economy, fulfilling a healthcare need, then their status should be extended. No! No, it was temporary. They shouldn't still be here. Revoke it, send them home, train Americans. Holy fuck. Massive Doge, thank you. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They cannot eat my gravy and cheems balls. I know I named them after food, but they're not for food. And speaking of things in the New Hampshire House, GOP leaders say no income tax, not now, not ever. Dems call the anti-tax amendment a stunt. You know, I would like to have an anti-tax amendment, you know? Whether they think it's a stunt or not, I think it would be a good thing to have this enshrined, unironically. Then we wouldn't need to have people calling for potentially hanging politicians on social media because they just wouldn't be able to institute an income tax. Boomers don't care about training their replacement. Why would they? They won't be there when their replacement is in charge. That's not their problem anymore. Which again, like somebody else in chat called the boomers like the most selfish generation, is a very selfish train of thought. Part of what you should be doing is wanting to make things better for when you're no longer here. It shouldn't be a, yeah, everything's going tits up and it's going to be awful, but that's not my problem. I won't be alive. That's a very grotesque mentality to have. You should want to leave things better for those who come after you. And I think maybe that's part of the danger of some people not having children. Because it's like some people are intelligent enough to understand I might not be able to have, or I might not personally want children, but I understand that they are the next generation. They will inherit what we are currently living in. And so I should strive to make things better, even though I personally will not be having a legacy carried on. There are other children to worry about in my area, and I should still strive to make things better. But not everyone thinks like that. So some people without children are just like, yeah, fuck them. Who cares? It's all about me. And even then, some boomers with children are like, yeah, why would I leave all of my money and worldly possessions to my children who I could help, like, lessen the burden off of? Instead, I should just give it to random foreigners in other countries. But I'd rather have absolutely no taxes except income tax, or absolutely no taxes except sales tax. I always find these questions really funny because New Hampshire has no sales tax, no income tax. And people complain about the high property taxes in New Hampshire, and they are high. Don't get me wrong. I think they should be lower or not exist at all. But when you look at the houses and their property taxes, Massachusetts property tax is basically the same at this point. Like, it might be like 0.5% lower or some fucking shit, but all of the houses that I was looking at, I was basically paying the same amount of money in property taxes regardless of which state I lived in. Would you rather be burned or drowned? Ask question. So in New Hampshire, they have taxes like a luxury tax. They have taxes on probably some other things that I can't even think of at the moment. All of the liquor stores are run by the New Hampshire government. So they have other ways of getting money. And it would be nice if we could also get rid of the property tax. And I think that we're not anywhere near doing that, because I think you need to make sure that the people who live in these areas have the same values. And if we're struggling to remove refugee resettlement, we won't be able to institute a, hey, no property taxes, but pay to your town to upkeep public services, right? Like, it wouldn't be a tax anymore. It would be a pay what you would want in order to help upkeep things like fire and police and roads and whatever. I think that would work in small, tight-knit communities. Would not work once you introduce too much levels of foreign people who are incompatible with that level of thinking. And that can be seen. Personally, you're fine with sales tax and income tax to a degree if there was no property tax. It only works in a very high trust. Yes, as it can be seen, we've gone over articles before where people are like, we no longer have people donating to our soup kitchen. We have people no longer willing to donate clothing to like our local clothing donation place. And the more and more a community becomes, in the words we read in those articles, diverse, the less people are giving to charity. And so if the more diverse it comes, the less people give to charity, you also would not be able to have a non-taxed area where you give out of just wanting to upkeep your community. That wouldn't happen. There's zero chance that would happen unless it was a tight-knit, homogenous area. Bored DevOps, thank you. You wish the average worker thought about making things better for future hires. Alas, get me in minds is the motto of today. Anyway, here's Bangladesh. Yeah, I do hate that mentality, man. Secret trick to reduce property tax, reduce property values. Sales tax or income tax, pick one. You can't tax me for making the money and then tax me again for spending it. I like having no sales tax, and I think people who are like, yeah, get rid of property tax and institute a 35% sales tax. I'm like, what the fuck drugs are you smoking? What the fuck is wrong with you? Kirsche's plan is a recipe for tragedy of the commons, sadly. You need small, high-trust society that people don't easily leave first, yeah? I think that would be the best way to handle funding public works without forced taxes. But if we're going to live in a non-high-trust society, you need to compel people in order to keep up your public areas, because they're not going to do it any other way. And I hate that. I don't like that, and I don't want the taxes. You'd be fine with paying a monthly fee to the city for the express purpose of funding police, fire, road maintenance. Property tax means you never own your property. You're forever paying rent to the government, and that's straight trash. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. You meant absolutely no other taxes, no real estate, personal property, sin tax, etc., just income or just sales. You would lean to just income so you're rewarded for participating in the economy and discouraged for making money and sending it elsewhere. Help. Get rid of all tax. You're tired of being robbed with taxes, and you don't even make that much. It kind of fucking sucks. Property tax is good. It gets the better off individuals in an area to upkeep their own public services and roads, but sales tax affects everyone, so reducing that is always good. I think the biggest problem with property tax, right? If we just put aside the whole you're paying rent to the government thing for a second, property taxes encourages people who have larger properties or larger homes. They pay more. Like, that's just how it is, right? If people start building more apartment housing in your area, or they start building more Section 8 in your area, there's not going to be a lot of property taxes collected from that. So it's going to be kind of rough if you have like that two-pronged assault, because the people who live in the nice houses with the large yards who are paying tons in property tax aren't going to want to live near the apartment dwellers or the Section 8. Ninja Taco, thank you for the 33, my guy. Thank you for the 33 months. Interestingly, the early Islamic empires collapsed largely because they put religious and ethnic minorities as the vast majority of their bureaucracies. Interesting. Property tax is the ultimate. You will own nothing because at the end of the day, they can always just take your property back because you never truly own it. And it's also just like, if your property tax is supposed to go up forever, if your property taxes are already high, what the fuck do you do when you retire? How do you keep paying incredibly high property taxes after you no longer make incredibly high amounts of money? Zippy DSM Lee, thank you. Unions are just another soulless corporation. 4 more months until you get a placenta. Hell yeah, buddy. They built 8 new apartment complexes since you bought your house. The area has been completely destroyed. I was driving in an area that I was very familiar with, and I noticed that along the waterfront, they put up a giant apartment building, and that giant apartment building literally ruined the entire scenery. And it's like, I don't care how many people are housed here, I wish for this to get knocked down. You get fucked. Remember to invest in lube for retirement. That's what you're saying. Thankfully, where you live, your property tax is pretty cheap, but it just keeps going up. Property and income taxes are immoral. Sales taxes are the closest thing to voluntary one is likely to get when it comes to taxation. I really enjoy no sales tax. It is such a great thing. And people enjoy no sales tax so much that back when I was a teenager, Massachusetts tried instituting some, like, reciprocal policy. I was a teenager, so I didn't really pay too much attention. I have no idea how they did this. But they made it so that if you were a Massachusetts resident and you went shopping in New Hampshire, they had to collect your zip code. And if your zip code was a Massachusetts zip code, you had to pay Massachusetts sales taxes on New Hampshire purchases. And this didn't last very long. I can't remember how long it lasted because I was very young, but it didn't last very long and people were very up in arms about it. So I do not see any places with sales tax putting one in. Are we pretending they're against income tax again? Politicians will never actually give that up. It's just too useful a tool come punishment for them to use against us. Yeah, wasn't it like Oregon or Washington State, I can't remember which one, just instituted an income tax after not having one for so very long? Mass still insists on collecting sales tax on New Hampshire purchases. It's just completely unenforceable except for cars. I love going to places in Massachusetts, and if I'm buying something and it's like a large something, they're just like, do you happen to live in New Hampshire? And if I do, they're just like, hey, we're gonna give you this like thing so that you don't have to pay sales tax on it. I always thought that was really cool back when I was younger. I was like, bless you guys, cause fuck the tax man. You enjoy no sales tax in a world where you have to pay property, road, income taxes. You would gladly trade all those other taxes for an income tax. I would not. I would absolutely not. I want no income tax under any circumstances. I don't want any of those taxes. I don't want to pay property taxes or income taxes or sales taxes. If I had to pick one tax, I would pick property tax. Because my property tax goes more into my local community than anywhere else. I hate having to rent from the government in that regard, but I would rather pay the property tax than any other tax. You don't want any taxes, but sales tax is the best one. I heavily disagree. And I would imagine I would end up spending more money in sales tax than in property tax. Van Tesla, thank you for the 27 months of Proom. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. You would complain less if your taxes did anything good, like build a wall on the border with California. You want no taxes? I want absolutely no taxes, but if I was like gun to my head, all other taxes go away, but you have to pick one. Like, unless I could loophole and be like, haha, only luxury tax, right? Like, unless I could do that, I would have to pick property. Great, now that we disagree, instead of having neither, we will get both. I'm in the wrong on that one, especially as long as public school systems exist. I guess it depends on where you live, but if you live somewhere that you can see the direct effect that your property taxes have on the shit around you, it's sort of a like, I hate it, but I guess I'll pay it. Which tax is being used in Iran? Not that one, that's true. That one's not being used in Iran. Get rid of the others and they will just quintuple the property taxes. Again, that's not necessarily true. Property tax is one of the only taxes New Hampshire has. Property tax is the worst. They would just price you out and make you rent, and then it's government owned. That's already happening in all of New England because property is so fucking expensive in New England. The majority of people buying are rich people from out of state or investment like companies. And they're all making them into multi-family places that you'll have to rent. It's becoming like a renter's paradise. Paradise Doom, not Paradise Actual, out in New England because it's just so expensive. It's so expensive everywhere out there. Like for the government to be required to provide an itemized receipt. Oh, that'd be great, man. That'd be great. But they won't even tell you how much you owe. Tax voting, literally sell vote tickets. What could go wrong? Oh, no. Just tied our school administrator and teacher salary to performance. Kids can't read and do math, lose money based on how bad they can't read good. Yeah. Yeah. You're in California, it's all people with Google, Nvidia stock, or people with Chinese money. Tax argument dies if the US goes back to pre-1940s manufacturing and all the big names for goods are national versus global. Yeah, I still would like to just have no taxes and then you just pay into public works, but you know. I don't think we'll have that as a possibility anytime soon. Really wish you could stop the big corpos from buying up land in New Hampshire. Same. If you get rid of all the federal taxes like income, they will get their money from your property taxes. We've only had income tax in this country since like 1913, There was a temporary period in the late 1800s where they instituted like a 3%, I think it was, income tax to sort of rebuild part of the economy after one of the wars. And then, like we used to be a real country, that temporary income tax actually went away after, I think it was like 6 or 7 years or some shit. And then we didn't get another income tax until 1913. And we've just had that ever since. Prior to that, tariffs made up a lot of the money that the government made, which is why, even though we had some things go up in price when Trump instituted tariffs, I really liked the fact that he was trying to combat the other countries and make them pay more than what we are. I liked that. I was like, yeah, treat them more fairly. And now, if we got rid of income tax, sure, I could see some people in the government arguing that we need to take property taxes to pay for foreigners, but hopefully, by that point in time, if we can get enough people in the government to repeal the income tax, hopefully those are smart enough people that they wouldn't start using property taxes for federal things. You know about the 17th? The point is, we need to also make sure we reduce spending. That means we need to cut a lot more government bloat, because there's a lot of useless daycare jobs in government still. Dan Wu, thank you. New item sales tax. Only tax an item the first time it sells, not over and over again. Ooh, that would, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That seems like it would make a crazy black market for resellers. Travis, New Hampshire, King of America. True. This article, though. GOP leaders led the hearing on an amendment to CACR 12 that would permanently ban an income tax in New Hampshire if voters approve a change to the state constitution, with a steady chorus of no income tax, not now, not ever. Some gave no other testimony before the House Ways and Means Committee Wednesday. Just the same mantra that over the years has become known as the pledge, demanded of candidates from both parties who feared not getting elected if they even hinted at any new tax for New Hampshire. Good. 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 Politicians should fear this. If politicians do not fear their constituents, they become selfish, bloated overlords who don't do anything for their constituents. As more people grow concerned about dramatically increasing local property taxes and how much power free staters and libertarians have as Republicans in the legislature, shifting costs to local property taxpayers, the demand for a fair tax system is growing. You know, this is really, my property taxes are very high. They're ridiculously high. And they also just got voted to be reduced this year. So, yeah, the word fair with heavy quotes. It's doing some fucking lifting, for sure. Are they as high as you on side scrollers? What? Manny Mulatto Beats, thank you. Make it so corporations can't buy houses, only land. If you want to build a store or a mall, go for it, but leave houses to the people. You know? You know? They become a scam. You wish the rest of the country could actually be that way? Sarah Mathis, thank you. All transfer taxes, sales, income, inheritance are an argument that the government is entitled to your labor. Land taxes are just renting national land from the nation. Every argument for rent is an agreement for land taxes. Yeah, and I don't want it. I don't want property taxes. You don't know how it works over there, but over here, VAT is supposed to be written off a company's taxes, so the end customer is the only one who pays the tax. You never really got the argument about products being taxed every step of the way. Then again, you're stupid. I have somebody doing that for me for my shop, so I don't know how that works either. Evil Mandrake, thank you for the 555 Domino's deal. Okay, sales tax, but it excludes all necessities. Food, water, gas, etc. In fact, it only affects cigs, alcohol, the lottery. A sin tax is what you're saying, basically. Tax the prostitutes. JC Dusk, thank you for the 16 months, thank you. Another Foxu month on cocaine cappuccino day. True and real. True and real. Income tax will never go away because of the CTC and the EITC. I don't know what the fuck that stands for, but I wish it would go away. And I'm glad New Hampshire doesn't have a state income tax. And I hope that it continues, that anyone in New Hampshire who tries to pose one gets resoundingly attacked by everyone. I'm gonna pay the tax man for a handy. No! Dan Wu. I read that already. Thank you again. Thank you again. No one at all, obviously, thank you. In a low-trust society, there is no public space. It all belongs to the violent. True, unfortunately. Sean Hoogland, thank you for the Lions and Rotary, 2 community service clubs, have been struggling to get members. People aren't forming communities and people don't want to serve. What the fuck are Lions and Rotary? I don't know what those are. Richard Slammer, thank you. In Montana, you pay higher than national average property tax, but you have no sales tax and all other taxes are relatively lower. Better to get dinged once a year. Yeah, when you look at, like, there was a map, and I can't remember what map it was, and I think Kaufman might have posted it at one point. But it was like, which states are like the best for tax burden or whatever. And New Hampshire was like, I can't remember if it was like first or second, but it was fucking up there, bro. And so I think there's something to be said for not having to pay pretty much any other taxes except property taxes. Like, obviously, I don't want to pay rent to the government, but if that's the way their state works, and they're actually having a functioning state with not that many taxes, and they have one of the lowest tax burdens in the country, clearly they found some sort of formula that has worked, have they not? Did you hear Richard Slammer. Lions Club sponsor a lot of community parks in small towns across the continent. Interesting. I've seen a lot of those like highways and parks and stuff that have like a little sponsor sign on them. I've never known how people do that. And like when you sponsor it, do you like have to hire people to clean it, or is it just like you give money and then the park organization finds people to clean it? Fun fact, over 2/3 of government spending is spent on keeping the bloated bureaucracy afloat. Could gut the adult daycare to remove income tax, still keep most of the welfare system intact. Yeah, probably. Probably. Dick Slammer's also kind of funny. True. Sometimes you are the park organization. You clean it or get people to do it? I don't know how you would do that. If I could just like throw money and be like, here, hire people for the park. You know, that'd be better, right? Sponsored roads are maintained by donations. In the meantime, the Netherlands wants to import an unrealized gains tax. What the heck? What the heck? Vladimir Crystal, thank you. Is the Kirsche entitled to the sweat of their brow? No, said our government. We want all your money to pay for the illegals. Unfortunately. And Mazurkonis, thank you. You'd rather pay both property and sales tax before federal income tax, even if that means having your rear reamed by those taxes. You hate income tax. Also, behind is censored. That's really funny. That's really funny. It's like when I think about it, it's like, would I rather spend like, let's just use some astronomical numbers, right? Would I rather spend $300,000 in income tax or $10,000 in property tax? I think that's a fucking no-brainer, brother. I think that is a no-brainer question. Obviously the property tax. Kirsche and chat are super duper cute and wonderful. Less than 3. I hope everyone remembered to file their taxes. If you did get your tax refund, use it on Gamer Subs using code Kirsche for 10% off your order. That's my fucking guy! Use code Kirsche for 10% off your Gamer Subs order and help me pay my mortgage. Thank you. Seems a low state tax outside of there isn't much outside of the one they have is Delaware with no general sales tax, no inheritance tax, low property tax from 2.2 to 6.6. That is kind of low. That is kind of low. They just keep trying to push unrealized gains tax, which would make stocks and everyone's 401ks absolutely useless. Do you mean federally? I know New Hampshire recently had passed like no unrealized gains tax. It's like I guess there was one here previously, and then they got rid of it last year? Question mark. Always use Kirsche. Ordered more the Gamerade. 2 green, 2 blue. Good stuff. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Instead of the ceiling bird chirp, it's now the tax man knocking. Hides under the covers with the lights off. The New Hampshire tax was on dividends, not unrealized gains. Okay, thank you for the correction. I thought it was on unrealized gains. Liam Sexton, thank you. As the saying goes, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program, hence why the US has 1.5 billion pounds of cheese in cold storage. I like the cheese caves. It's a fun piece of lore. You find property tax the worst because it forces you to take part in the system. In a perfect world, I wouldn't have to pay that either, but like if I had to choose, I think that one's the more obvious. I pay way less, you know? Half your property taxes go to the roads, and you have yet to see the road they fixed. I brought this up before when I had a friend say that they could tell when they were in New Hampshire and in Massachusetts because the quality of the roads changed so drastically. Right? Taxachusetts Worst fucking roads. And they were just like, everything in New Hampshire was just smooth sailing. All the roads were really nice. And I'm like, well, I'm sure you could find some that aren't, but you know, yeah, that's funny. You can no longer be a hermit. Pretty sure gas taxes go to the roads in many states. Unrealized gains is an insane thing California was talking about, wasn't it? Maybe? I don't remember. Taxachusetts. They tax you on just fucking breathing there, man. It's crazy. At the hearing Wednesday, essentially a do-over of the House vote on roughly the same measure that failed to get the required 60% of the vote 5 weeks ago, about 100 people gathered to testify Wednesday with Republican leaders marching to the anti-tax drumbeat for much of the hearing. House Majority Leader Jason Osborne, R. Auburn, said, "We are affectionately referring to this as the New Hampshire Advantage Amendment." He noted that it did not recently pass 60% muster in the House with a vote of 198 to 154, but was worth revisiting. Osborne, who moved to New Hampshire in 2010 as part of the Free State movement, said, "When we disincentivize productive behavior, work, earning, our civilization becomes poor and people suffer. For years, we've seen people move here from our neighboring states, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine. They come for many reasons," he said, such as quality of life, but the lack of an income tax is the main reason for many. Do we trust the people of New Hampshire to decide those issues for themselves by placing the question on the ballot? Osborne asked. It would require a 2/3 majority vote to change the state constitution if it gets to the ballot. Representative Kelly Ayotte issued a press release Wednesday. New Hampshire is a beacon of freedom and opportunity because we've held the line against an income tax. A constitutional amendment to make it permanent ensures that our state won't go the way of Massachusetts. No income tax, not now, not ever. And I can agree with adding something like this, because if we already have Democratic representatives suggesting an income tax, they're probably going to try to do more than just suggest it as more years go by and more transplants escaping Massachusetts and Maine end up coming here. And I would imagine that they could slide in an income tax as long as they make it lower than what the income tax is in Massachusetts or Maine. And I wouldn't want them to do that because eventually they would probably make it catch up to, if not exceed, what the income tax is in Mass and Maine. They would get addicted to the extra income that they now have, and I don't want to see that. Amalgamite, thank you for the raid on Kick. Sorry I missed it when it happened. I didn't get a little flag. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Amalgamite Raiders. Welcome, welcome. Finally, a politician talking about incentives and how to shape behavior. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's really nice to see, yes. Vladimir Crystal, thank you. Since the citizens are too stupid to get an ID to vote, our citizens are too stupid to pax complete taxes. Use that as an argument. Man, want to know when? Oh, that's a bot message. Whoops. No sales tax sliding in? Not even if it's just the tip? Well, this is income tax. Following the hearing, House Democratic leader Alexis Simpson, D. Exeter, said today's hearing is further proof that Granite Staters are sick of Republican extremism and partisan political games in Concord. What? Nobody should want an income tax. What do you mean? Repeated corporate tax cuts passed by the GOP have reduced revenue over $1 billion over the past decade, forcing property taxpayers to pick up the tab. This stunt does nothing to change that. House Democrats are committed to delivering real results for Granite Staters by fighting for our fair chance agenda. An income tax has not and will not be considered. Well, good, then we can just add it. If you're not considering it, then it's no problem to say we'll never have one, right? Right? Always love that clip. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, but the people are retarded, true. And this is how it's probably going to be proposed, right? They're saying that since the GOP has cut revenue from like corporate taxes, property taxpayers are having to have increased property taxes, which first of all doesn't make sense to me, but second of all, saying that we're going to introduce an income tax to offset your high property taxes. Anyone who falls for that is a fucking retard. Oh no, please, Kirsche, you live in New Hampshire. What do you mean? What do you mean, oh no, please? Raging Goblin, thank you for the 6-month resub, my guy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Want to know if Kirsche pre-reads the messages she chooses to read out loud? Watch how she almost reads the Stream Elements ad for Kirsche.com and find out. I can't pre-read, man. More money business can mean more pay and better benefits, imagine. House Democrats are committed to delivering real results for Granite Staters by fighting for our fair chance agenda. An income tax has not and will not be considered. The release said House Republicans filed over 500 bills for the 2026 session. A constitutional amendment banning an income tax wasn't one of them. It wasn't a top 500 policy issue to the GOP. This proposal was hastily introduced last month. Yeah, that's because there was a Democrat guy who was suggesting an income tax potentially being useful. You know, even if he's not proposing a bill right now, the fact that he's merely posing it should worry people. That would explain why it was something hastily cobbled together, because it's like, hey, this guy is wanting to do a nuclear option. We should get in front of this and make sure he can't do that. Godel self, thank you. If your income has reduced, then reduce the budget and nobody has to foot the bill, damn it. True, also true. It's never going to be considered. Why are the Democrats against ensuring it can never be considered? It's almost like the Dems are going to pass an income tax if they ever get power. Imagine being able to use your brain and having pattern recognition. Spider Bro, thank you for the raid on Kick, my guy. Welcome more warm bodies. It also said the New Hampshire House has considered 22 constitutional amendments so far this year and passed 0. Republicans know this November will be costly to them due to Trump's unpopularity. Ooh. This is a last-ditch effort to give a depressed party with unenthusiastic voters a reason to turn out, the release said. This is how you know the people in the Democratic Party quite literally hate you. They're just like, yeah, we know we're gonna win because your voter base is unenthusiastic. We know our guys will vote for us no matter fucking what. Well, you guys have fair weather voters who aren't going to come together and vote for any sort of purpose. They actually just hate you. Well, Radius, thank you for the 6-month pre-subbing, my guy. Thank you. Anything is tax-free at Zombocom? Hell yeah, it is. The reason you turn out is so the Dems won't win because they're gonna rape everyone. Pretty much. I'm gonna vote for the anti-rape party, actually. Wastelander, thank you. You're 10 times better than Stuttering Craig and Gary from Neurotic on the whole reading thing. Thank you. I try reading. An attempt is being made. You got a strain that's Gary Payton x Black Cherry Gelato, and it's actually really good at 24%. Thanks for the recommendation. That sounds really fucking good. That sounds amazing, brother. When the left wins because they have the will to win, the right doesn't. True and fucking real. Senate President Sharon Carson, Republican Londonderry, greeted committee members and said, "My testimony is very short and to the point. No income tax, not now, not ever. Thank you very much," she said, greeted by applause, which the attendees were asked to stop for the remainder of the hearing. Why are they not allowed to clap? This is America. Representative Ross Berry, Republican Ware, said that he was casually dressed at the hearing because he had to go back to work and explained why he was happy to do so. "This is an income tax-free state. We get to keep what we earn," Berry said. "If you want New Hampshire to keep thriving, if you want people to keep moving here and starting their businesses, you need to keep this in place," Berry said in support of the amendment. This was actually like the biggest thing, right? You guys have heard me say it a million times as I've been looking for houses, where it's like, yeah, I would like to be close to my family. However, Massachusetts has a fucking million different taxes. So if I could find an affordable place in New Hampshire, that would be just objectively better because of how much less I would pay in taxes. Hear about the scam? The local transit operators that are in cities where the FIFA World Cup is taking place is going to overcharge their commuter rail and buses? Why? Why? Mastapets, thank you for the 31 months, my dude. Thank you. Thank you. Like, when Trump's term is over, who will be the new political boogeyman? Still Trump, probably. Too bad you had to move to Canada. True. I had to learn French. Senator Darrell Abbas, Republican Salem, said the only people who support an income tax have the misconception it will lower their property taxes. I'm glad he said the same exact fucking thing I did. If you believe that instituting an income tax where there previously was none will lower your property taxes, you are a fucking idiot. Like, full offense, objectively, you are just not smart enough to be part of the voting system. He'll still be Trump. Remember that Bush 2 was the boogeyman until Trump. True. True and real. Imagine thinking a new tax will lead to lowering another tax, right? ISPs, thank you. Not to loop any arguing, but no one brought it up, so you must say property tax is a communist anti-generational wealth weapon. I agree. Every benefit is just a concession they made to get it passed, so we promise the money will go to X. Yeah? Yeah, I don't want to have a property tax. I think it's dumb and gay, and I would like to get rid of it. Vladimir Crystal, thank you. If ICE was stationed at every polling location, the Dems would not win. So think of that, Crumb. Don't black pill. True. Hitler's to some degree the #1 boogeyman. That's true. Hitler will always be the #1 boogeyman. Property tax is inherently immoral. I would say all tax inherently immoral, right? Committee member Representative Susan Elberger, Democrat Nashua, asked Abbas about the Cut Our Property Taxes Group's 3-3 tax plan presented last month by lawyer and school funding advocate Andrew Volinsky. The plan prompted death threats on social media. Is this a fucking retard that suggested the income tax and then basically was told he should get hung? Elberger said using the plan's tax calculator, her property taxes would go down $2,500. Yeah, but how much will you be paying in income tax, you retard? And they will just insert all the other taxes by piecemeal, so fortifying this one sounds good to you. Can't wait for Trump to be out of office and for the left to start screeching about Mecca Trump. Not like this. We need to make tar and feathering great again, you know? It would create a 3% education income tax with a 3% statewide property tax that the group says would lower local property taxes, help fund schools statewide, and raise $1 billion a year in revenue. You see, I never even thought this could happen. So like when I was asking questions, and I was told like, oh yeah, there was a recent vote and people picked the school budget that would lower property taxes instead of increasing the school budget. I was like, that's crazy. I've never heard of anywhere where like people actually vote for taxes to go down. That's crazy. I mean, that means there's like a conglomerate of people with brains living in one area. That's nuts. Why do that? Why do they need that much money? Tell the government to get another job. Property taxes go down 2K, income taxes go up 3K. Chat, now this is the art of the deal. It's the same argument they use for gun control, but gun deaths will go down. What about other deaths? We could save tons of money on both ends if we just defund schools statewide instead. Yeah, it seems like everyone thinks more funding to the schools will end up helping. But if the majority of those funds end up going to administrative things, it's not helping anyone. And even if you're dumping tons of money into your school district, if like literacy rates and math rates haven't gone up with all of the extra money, why would you keep increasing it? That's clearly not gonna help. Lulbert, you may be, but you recognize that you want to neither do military service nor do you want to pave roads. However, you would prefer a tax on consumption as opposed to taxing earnings and property because you can decide to opt out by lowering consumption. By consumption, do you mean a sales tax? The schools are the source of many of the problems? Yes, exactly. Exactly. Oh my god, dude. The group said it would lower local property taxes, help fund schools statewide, and raise $1 billion a year in revenue. Abbas said he has seen the plan and insisted property taxes will still go up. The bulk of people's property taxes are for funding the school districts. Like, the bulk of them are for the school. No matter, like, the amount that go to, like, public works, like the fire department and the police and the roads and whatnot, is minuscule in compared to the amount that the school districts get. So yes, absolutely property taxes will still go up, because it doesn't matter if you're getting another 3% tax to give to the schools, they're gonna want more and more fucking money. Laughs in Mississippi jumping up 40 places without increased funding. Yeah, everyone should look at Mississippi, man. But 85% of your property taxes go to the commie indoctrination camps. Yeah, it needs to be fucking reduced. Must be hot tar or pine tar, very hot. True. In an op-ed published on indepthnewhampshire.org, Volinsky said the amendment makes William Loeb's anti-tax pledge the law of the land for New Hampshire. It would be a huge mistake to tie the hands of all future leaders in this way, and that's probably why the Jason Osborne Free State crowd supports the amendment. Can you explain to me? I don't know who the fuck William Loeb is, fucking lobe in the AI, may she never know peace. But they say his anti-tax pledge would become the law of the land. How in the fuck is it an anti-tax when it's a 3-3 tax plan introducing a new income tax? What in the fuck are you talking about, brother man? That does not sound anti-tax to introduce new tax. If it went to reducing the number of students to 1 teacher, you might be compelled to consider it, but it won't. It'll go to district administration and DEI programs. True and fucking real. That spin ain't spinning! I was just like, what the fuck, bro? Laura Ruddle Miller, a Keene city councilor, said she wants to reframe the question. It's not about whether people love or hate taxes. This is about whether we are constitutionally going to restrict the ability of future lawmakers and voters on how they decide to fund services. Yes, we should. We should absolutely restrict future lawmakers from implementing more taxes. That's like as American as you can get. What do you mean? The House Ways and Means Committee will decide on a recommendation for the amendment when it meets on April 27th. Yes, restrict them base. Yes, they must be restricted. That is liberty in action to restrict them. Loeb amendment does not equal Iberger income tax. What? I don't know what that sentence means. There's nothing in any constitution in the US about being able to grant the right to tax anyone. True. Should make it as hard as possible to change things drastically. Well, it wouldn't be a drastic change because New Hampshire has no income tax. They just want to ensure that no income tax will ever be implemented in the state. So it's not a drastic change. It's just saying, hey, we haven't had this and we will never have this. Leave it to a hyphenated last name to say that. Imagine. Imagine. All right, I am going to check on if I might have gotten an answer from the Twabish. Normalize socially treating IRS agents worse than hookers and drug addicts. True and real. Kai, thank you. For experiencing a population decline, why are we increasing funding for schools? Because we have to fund the people who are coming here from foreign nations. Obviously. Obviously. Aha! He did reply to me! And he said it was a great question. Yay! I'm not an idiot! Don't want to become low IQ like Democrats? Buy GamerSubs using code Kirsche, buy 10% off. Even Democrats buy deliciously flavored water, alright? Great question. So the way both the House and Senate work is this. To really dig into each bill would take, I don't know, 4 to 8 hours per bill. There literally aren't enough hours in the year to do it. So they divide up into committees. And the committees, 5 to 20 people, are much smaller than the whole body, 25 in the Senate, 400 in the House. So they can meet in parallel. The committees hear bills, deliberate, and then emit the bill with a recommendation. If a bill has a supermajority, e.g. 18-2, then the idea is that it is broadly bipartisan. Almost everyone wants it, and there's really no need for a lot more debate. It is placed on something that is called the consent calendar. This is called a calendar, but it's actually just a list of bills. This list hits the body as a whole, and in a time-saving maneuver, the majority leader says basically, hey, we've got 35 bills that almost everyone agrees on, we're good, right? And there's a voice vote, and all 35 or whatever bills are acted on at once. Those that were 20-0 or whatever to pass, OTP, ought to pass, now pass the House with ought to pass. Those that were 19-1 or whatever to fail, ITL, inexpedient to legislate, now get recorded in the House as ITL. The twists, say there's a passionate minority that says, yes, I understand that the committee voted against this or for this 19-1 or 20-0, but it's a really good/bad idea and we need to debate it on the floor. They can make a motion to remove it from consent and the vote ensues. These attempts to remove from consent are usually doomed. If something was 20-0 or whatever in committee, it is unlikely that you can find 201 votes in the House to remove it from consent, but it does happen. So I suspect what happened with HB 1706, haven't checked it yet, is that it was on the consent calendar as ITL, i.e. no, and the Republicans in the Senate either didn't know it was in a big pile of bills on the consent calendar or didn't care and voted the whole stack. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so this makes a lot of sense about why it was voted down and why Sullivan had no idea that it was voted in that way, I guess. And she was like, I need to check on it. So, what exactly, where exactly do we go from here, I guess, is the question. This is supposedly why they hated Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few other people. They made the federal Congress have to vote on everything and recorded, not this auto-pass nonsense. That's gonna be one of the most retarded ways of running things you think you've ever heard of. I think it kind of makes sense in a way. Like, it's still weird to me to have, like, a small committee just decide for everyone whether something is worth discussing or not, but it makes sense if there's, like, hundreds of bills and just not enough time to go over all of them. Consent calendar sounds like when you pick out anal night ahead of time, Jesus. You're reminded of a piece of Warhammer 40k fiction where a malicious clerk managed to kill millions of people by doing paperwork wrong. What the fuck? New Hampshire governor can veto the bill, and that would send it back to legislation, but no guarantee that would happen. Okay, so my question now is... Okay, so reading through the thread, if we want this to actually have a chance of passing, write the senators and ask them to bring it to the floor? Question mark? It's also tiresome. This makes sense in the I get how we got here way? Yeah, exactly. And then bring it to the floor, or what exactly happens from here since it was voted in a stack? Question mark. All right, perfect. See, this is the thick information that we need to be getting. Saw a great Think Before You Sleep on the English bubble many Japan tubers are in live years, but know little to no Japanese. The English bubble many Japan tubers are in and live years, but know little to no Japanese, made a great point about language proficiency being more important than time in a country. If you can't understand the word tricks politicians are pulling, you can't be expected to participate in politics properly. One of the many reasons some politicians would want mass migration. I have absolutely no idea what the first half of your paragraph is talking about, but yeah, if you don't have proficiency in a language and so you can't tell when someone's playing word games, that makes you a much better useful idiot than if they could warp the mind of someone who knows the language well. There's not enough time in the year, and then you need to cut out a lot of bullshit and focus on priorities. I'm lenient. You messaged me the broken link on X for your animation friend site. Sorry about that. You sent a new one and let her know I might contact her. I hope she can do what I want, but she's incredibly talented. I remember I clicked on the link and I was like, this link isn't real. What's happening? And then we don't need hundreds of bills, just like your PC. You don't need your government being inundated with bloatware. YouTubers who make content about Japan, like abroad in Japan. Man has lived in Japan for over a decade and speaks barely at beginner level. Well, then why the fuck is he living there? That just seems incredibly rude. Like, I wouldn't want to move somewhere else and not know their language. Needs a proofread before hitting a highlight message. Sorry, don't worry about it. They want mass migration for cheap labor to prop up the pension Ponzi scheme. Because he makes money. Thanks, I hate it. I think making money is good and all, but like, you should also kind of try to be a decent person while making money, right? He's from England. Imagine living in England over Japan. Now, where's my money from a foreign country to get me to go somewhere and give like a tour of the country? Where's that? I'd do that. Disingenuous to live in a money printer and not even speak the language. You would think that, but look at how many people want to, actually, Americans who demand everyone speaks English if they live here. It's like, actually, English wasn't your official language. Maybe you should learn Spanish. No, fuck you. If you're gonna come to the United States of America, you're gonna speak fucking English. Oh my god. Wild with the FIFA World Cup in Boston, they're raising their fares from an exact change to a mere $80 on the train or $95 on the buses to the FIFA venues in Boston. It's a good day to not give a single fuck about soccer, ain't it? I can't believe they're holding the soccer World Cup in a communist area. That's crazy. You have chronic pain problems and a heavy opiate dose dependence, so you sometimes don't check what you write. Oh, I'm just retarded, so that's why my messages come out wrong sometimes. This is true. Sports ball, I guess. Didn't colonize 25% of the earth to speak your language. Alright. Alright, moving on. We'll get maybe another answer to that. That'd be great. Okay. Let's just go through my tabs one by one. What could possibly go wrong? Father of a man killed on Primrose Hill says he was proud to live in diverse London. I'm so sick of these parents not giving a shit when their kids are killed. Like, what the fuck, man? The 65-year-old father of Finbar Sullivan, who was fatally stabbed in Primrose Hill last Tuesday, has spoken out against racist reactions to his son's death. The 21-year-old was testing a new camera with friends in the park when he was killed, with suggestions the murder was evidence of wider issues of violence plaguing the capital. Since the killing, various media outlets were forced to disable comments after racist responses appeared regarding the suspect's ethnicity. Let me guess, they were Pakistani? Chris Sullivan told the New Journal he refuses to allow his son's name to fuel hateful rhetoric, insisting he's proud to live in a diverse London, and that Finbar will be remembered as a beacon of peace and love. If I got murdered by people who shouldn't even be in my country in the first place, and my father said some shit like this, I would dedicate my entire afterlife to haunting my father and any other sons he may have produced thereafter. Like, no. This is how you show you care more about anyone else besides your close family. This is insane. This is an in-fucking-sane thing to say. This is just as, if not worse, than fucking that one cuck father from the Carmelo Anthony situation. I can't even remember his fucking name. It just makes me so mad every time I think of him. Everyone has a mother and a father. Not everyone has a mom and a dad. True. You literally told your dad this exact thing the other day talking about the Metcalf father. Yeah, Metcalf, thank you. That's who it was. Who cares? His name, he doesn't deserve to be remembered. He deserves to be remembered as a cautionary tale is what he deserves. You thought community relations was disbanded? I'm pretty sure this is the UK, so they might have their own community relations network, you know? He said, the hate should not be directed at minorities. It's the government and the Met Police. They're the ones to blame, not immigrants, not black kids. I mean, like, I could agree to an extent, but, like, the government and the police aren't the ones making them do crime. They're just the ones bringing all the foreigners here. And then not arresting them when they do crime. If I hear anything to the contrary, I'm going to really go to town with them. Because Finn, above all, was proud to be a Londoner. Proud of this multiracial, wonderful place we are. London! He stressed that the identity of his son's killer is irrelevant to understanding the crime. He said it doesn't matter where Finbar's killer comes from, his color, race, creed, it's nothing to do with that. It's a class thing, and it's been created by the government. Is he just, like, excusing his son's death? Oh, they were just poor and disenfranchised from a third world shithole, and my son was white, so he was privileged, therefore I'm sad that he died, but in the grand scheme of things, it's the class struggle that matters. Jesus fucking Christ. Mr. Sullivan argued that young people have been abandoned, unable to access housing, employment, or university education, leaving them without hope for the future. I wish you could see the hand movements I'm doing towards the screen as this man has a young son unable to access housing or employment or university education. He was left without hope for the future. What do you mean? I hate these people. My son being killed made someone else happy. How? How do you have this fucking mentality? It bewilders me. I don't even have kids, and I know that I would prioritize my kids over someone else. This family would have had a visit from the RICU, the government's nudge unit that rolls out whenever an instance of cultural enrichment happens, to emotionally blackmail the parents, to putting out these kinds of cuck statements. I would just fucking no, dude. Absolutely not. If your child is murdered by a savage invader, the only thing out of your mouth as a father should be, I'm going to Fed post the fuck out of that guy. Yeah, right? Like, you should Fed post regardless of who killed them. But it's like, if the government enabled all of this to happen, and this person wouldn't have been here, therefore my son wouldn't have died this way, you should be extra angry. It's hard to access housing when you're dead, to be fair. Jesus Christ. And then they jail you if you don't issue these lame statements. It's time to just say no. Be jammin', thank you. You read an article earlier this week about the trials and tribulations of rotisserie chicken places in NYC struggling because people aren't buying their $40 for a half chicken. Bro, what? Why the fuck would you pay $40 for half of a roast chicken that has bones in it when you can buy like 3 chicken breasts that are sizable for like $12 already pre-marinated? It's even cheaper if you just get bland blank ones, man. NYC is fucked. A thing that never happens happened again. How curious! Jen Jacko, thank you. The US government is in its perfect form when it's hogtied, locked in the basement, and muzzled. Same? For real? Greatest mistake was letting politicians smell money. It took you 10 minutes to type this to get past the YouTube. Damn, all you did was rearrange. If YouTube's giving you fucking fuck shit about your super chat, use the Stream Elements link instead. Stream Elements rules, man. Costco $5 chicken strikes again. Cladex, thank you. They are innocent baby angel Aladdins. What is an AJW? Come on, bro. Just buy my overpriced chicken, please. Glenn, thank you. Any sport where you can hit the ball with your head is a bad idea. Really? Really? The $5 rotisserie has saved your life during many a hard time. Kai, thank you. If we are experiencing a population decline, why are we increasing funding for schools? I read that already. Thank you again. Thank you again. Oh, fuck. Hold on a second. You guys reminded me of something. Hold on. Okay. All right. I want to send these to my mods. Beep 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 beep. Okay, good. My BGM is on. I was like, I hope I'm not just like fucking sitting here in fucking silence and how? I gotta go here. And then it's in here. And then we want this one. And ooh, 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 ooh. And this one. No! No! Oh god, how do I use a phone? How do phone work? Okay, alright. Those. I'm retard. Please can check. Can show on stream? Question mark. Like Kirsche mumbles to herself, sleep sound device. Well, I sometimes talk in my sleep, but I also snore very fucking loud. I'm a loud snorer. Ein moment here. Let me just pop up something else to make sure. Dang, you made it to a live stream. Heck yeah. Hello! This is why women need men to be around, to teach them to phone. Very true. Very true and very real. Okay. So that's pretty good. This is pretty good. We're gonna have that again. I'm being vague on purpose. I can't tell you things. It's so fucking cute. Oh my god. I loves it. I loves it. Okay. Wide Ted Cruz. No. No. Do they have... Okay. Okay. They do. They do. Okay, and it's very... Oh my god. Oh my god, I love it. Oh, that's so fucking gooby. Okay. 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 Might have to wait on that second picture I wanted to show, but that's fine. That's fine. You're fine with snoring, waifu? You're already asleep and snoring too. Let's see. That could work. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Silithan, thank you for the blame the one supplying the knife, not the one wielding it. It's the crack dealer versus crack addict all over again. Everyone knows if you deal with both, the issue was dealt with properly. True. Jen Jacko, thank you. Question Fox 2. If your himbo was into trains, would I let him build a mini railroad in the yard asking for a friend? Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I don't remember where it was, but I went to a park, and the park had, like, this toy train that ran through a big area of the park, and so there was like this toy train village, and then like a big like train master station that was actually a gift shop in the center of it. It was so fucking cool. Like if I had an autist who loved trains and he was like, I want to build fake train village around the garden areas, I'd be like, holy shit, let's go. Let's go. Your stepbrother's backyard was an entire RC race car course. It was neato. Not the same thing, but gosh darn, it was neat to watch him race. I can only imagine. It was me. I'm the friend. They raised bus and train fare thing in Boston for the FIFA World Cup. Fares of 80 or 95 is from the MBTA, and the T, not some private transportation. That's so fucking weird. That's so weird. Perfect. Did you know if you combine Warhammer and miniature trains, you can watch all of your money disappear in real time? That's a neat magic trick. Patchouli, thank you. How do I use a phone? Phones is hard, okay? I went to text someone named, like, it wasn't Jolene, but it was something close to Jolene that I can't remember. And my phone auto-corrected the name to Jawline, and I didn't notice it, so I sent the message, and I was like, oh my god, I am so fucking sorry. Polystyrene foam for the win? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. B Jammin', thank you. You put the article from the New York Times archive in the stream suggestions channel on the Discord server. Article of what? Article of what? Did I see the Clash of Clans foot news? I did. I was like, holy shit, I didn't think they were a Gooner game. You have faith. Small Nyanta, thank you. Have I seen Hamas Piker telling kids at Yale to end the American Empire? I haven't, but that doesn't surprise me. I'm not shocked at all. Alright, okay. I can show off one of the pictures that I sent to my moderator. So, obviously, since I am back in a home area, I was able to... Oh, fuck. I was able to... It's too blurry. I can't read it. Is the original blurry? Was the original one blurry? I don't have it showing on screen yet, do I? No, I don't. Okay. Am I just, like, really bad at taking pictures? Yep, the original one's blurry. Fuck. Well, you can get the cringe across even if we can't read all of the pins. So, I got to go through some of my old stuff, and some of my old stuff includes, really cringe shit from, like, middle school. Aggressive head tilt. Yeah, I was trying to see if I could read it. And, I had this tie with pins on it. You know, there was Gurr and Foamy the squirrel. And I had a frying pan that said goodbye kitty, and it had a cat with bacon and eggs. What the fuck? Yeah, that checks out. Patchouli, thank you. What if the train you can ride through the inevitable hedge maze in your garden? Asking for me, I'm the friend. If there was a rideable train that I could take through a hedge maze in my own yard, I think I would pee in excitement. Pieces of flair, oh my god! Did I work at Shenanigans? You know, I did see the Batwing. This takes you back to a better time. I got a pin that says, I found Jesus. He was behind the sofa the whole time. I got Lucky Charms, obviously a pentacle, because my mom wanted to get me into Wiccan shit. I love my cat. I think it says, my cat does not care. I have no idea what the goofy button says. I have no idea. Hints of flair. Oh my god. You always thought my nerdy voice sounded like the nerdy squirrel from Foamy, but you didn't think I'd get the reference. My dad loved Foamy the squirrel. My dad is the reason I know what Foamy is. So, thanks, Dad. Foamy is still a thing. One of his more recent videos is the British squirrel moving in because he's hiding from the UK speech laws. Oh my god. Girugamesh, thank you. You have a $1,000 phone in your hands, and this is the photo you took. That's what I'm saying! I was like, holy shit, that's so blurry, I can't read it! Jesus was the tooth fairy all along. True. Did I have cats when I was young? I did. My dad had a cat, and his name was Jake, and he hated everyone. My mom had many pets, including cats. But she's not a very responsible pet owner. She was also not a responsible child owner.
I'm starting to understand why you didn't get approached much in high school.
Look, man, everyone just thought I was a lesbian, but not the like, oh, it's fun that you're a lesbian. It's just, you're a weird lesbian. Oh, apparently the goofy pin says partly confused all of the time. That's still very accurate to today. The phone's camera saw the tie and just said, nah, you don't want that in HD. You literally had cream cheese for the first time because of Foamy way back when. Ill Will Press also turned you on to some great music with the short record store series. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You can relate to Jake the cat. Yeah, he became, like, my father's best friend in his old age. It was actually my dad's, like, at the time it was his wife, but they got divorced. It was her cat, but she had him declawed, so he didn't really like her or anyone else. He just liked my dad. The lighting is your friend. It doesn't matter if you have a $10,000 camera. If the lighting is shit, your photo will be shit. Okay, well, I don't really have lights right now, so... You would have wanted to approach, but you would have been too nervous, you know? I was kind of retarded. Reasonable cat. Your dad does not have a good track record for picking women, and I do not have a good track record for picking men. He just like me. For real, for real. I can't believe Kirsche picked up a goofy pin and decided to make it the basis for her entire life view. True. Told Kirsche Foamy's creator streams on Twitch, but it was an inopportune time, so she spanked my pee-pee and memory hold it. True. And I will also forget after today. Wastelander, thank you. You can't stop you from dating the school shooter ma. True. True and real. Why are your boyfriends all so bad? I learned it from watching you, Dad. Jesus. She's blackout maxing. You know, sometimes it's just dark. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, that's unfortunate. I wanted to see if there was anything to do. But Travis responded and said, at this point, it's dead on arrival in the Senate, but there are plans. So I guess contacting your senator about the bill won't matter. We'll have to see what the there are plans are. Have to see what those are. If you didn't have a lady right now, maybe you should pick for each other. That would be a good idea, unironically. Ask the vintage gays for some lights. They did have some really nice lampshades, but I was on the fence about the actual lamps. Will we ever see the vacation photos? I have to find the will to send 1 million pictures. Wastelander, thank you again. Wait, didn't you buy lamps? I have some lamps in some places, but not all lamps are in the correct place for lamp to be. I have to be cryptic. Thank you, Travis, for answering and informing us. I love when a politician answers. It's great. Now we have chronologies. All right, let's see. Let's see what else I can get out here. What were we? We were reading something, weren't we? I feel like we were reading something. Oh yeah, we were reading this thing. This fucking British cuck-ass. He also criticized media coverage for exacerbating the problem with harmful rhetoric around knife crime. What? I really blame the media for a lot of what's happened to this country. If these revolting newspapers keep on saying knife crime, knife crime, knife crime, kids are going to carry knives, he said. I'm not even sure what to say. This guy has like literally 55 IQ. What is he even saying? Yeah, just jaw-droppingly stupid. What the fuck? Imagine what it's like when you're 20 and you can't walk down the street without looking over your shoulder. Wait a minute. So he's saying it's the newspaper's fault for informing people about how often knife crime happens, and so that younger people at age 20 will see how much knife crime is being reported in the newspapers and think they need a way to defend themselves. And somehow, the 20-year-olds looking for a way to defend themselves are what this guy thinks is the problem? And that more people are carrying knives and just randomly stabbing people because they wanted them for self-defense? This guy's so fucking dumb. This guy is so fucking dumb. Like, I cannot even fathom what it is like to live life with a brain so diluted and smooth. At this point, you're convinced this guy is actually glad his son got murdered? Yes, same. What the fuck? You bet he thinks that poor little girl who protected her sister is some kind of monster? Oh, I would put money on that bet. What the fuck? Mr. Sullivan pointed to conservative government cuts to youth services as a key factor, arguing teenagers have been left without safe spaces. Safe spaces, or lack thereof, are not what got your son murdered in the park. You know what should be a safe space? The fucking park! What are we talking about? Sly Maverick, thank you for the 5 gift blankets on Kick, my guy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Girugamesh, thank you. Smooth brain. The logic slides right off. I just, like, what do you even say to someone like this? Who is just operating on a level of intellect far below that of even chimpanzees? Like, what are we doing? Hey man, sorry about your kid, but you're the stupidest person I've ever heard say anything ever. Jesus Christ. They're not safe on the street no matter where they go, even in Primrose Hill, the bastion of British middle classness. Good lord. And why do you think that is? That's not a lack of youth services, my guy. As an artist, writer, and DJ, oh, no wonder he's so fucking retarded. Mr. Sullivan established Soho's legendary WAG Club in 1982, and more recently founded Artists for Gaza, which has organized fundraising concerts featuring Paul Weller and Suggs from Madness. Who the fuck are these people? A forthcoming event expected in May will serve as a memorial to Finbar. I am dying! But also, that's crazy how little this guy seems to care that his son was killed. But he'll use his son's death to make money for some sort of club thing. Holy shit. Imagine having this guy as your dad, fucking cuck. I would haunt him forever. A crowdfunding campaign has raised approximately £25,000 for the family since the murder. Hot take, if you basically act callous towards your son and encourage the conditions that got him killed to continue, nobody should be giving you money. It should end at, I have sympathy for your son because he was a victim, but you, sir, are a cuck and deserve nothing. Mr. Sullivan expressed his intention to establish a charity supporting bereaved families who lack wealthy connections to help them through such tragedies. Or you could deport the people killing your children. 3 men have been charged with murder. Oh, come the fuck on! Come on, man! You fucking... Aliuwada Milola Oganyakinu, 27. Alexis Bidace, 25. And Ernest Boating, 25. Oganyakinu has failed to enter a plea, however, previously denied the charge at a prior court hearing. The latter two appeared at Wimbledon Magistrates Court on Wednesday and were remanded in custody, where they did not enter any formal pleas to the charges during the short hearing. Anna Wright, defending, said they deny participation in the alleged murder. The men spoke only to confirm their names, addresses, and age before District Judge Daniel Benjamin remanded them to appear at the Old Bailey later today. Additionally, Khalid Abdul Qadir, 18, faces charges of grievous bodily harm with intent, violent disorder, and knife possession. Why was there, like, a fucking random Star Wars 18-year-old with, like, almost 30-year-old people? So this is the UK, they'll probably be let out and given a free house and pension and an award? Probably. They're just like, well, you only managed to kill 1 white man, so we could have given you a free house, but we're only gonna give you free rent for right now. Maybe next time, if you kill more, you'll get a better bonus. Sad my son got stabbed to death, but I hope that the foreigners who stabbed him had more fun stabbing him than I am sad, so the overall happiness went up in the world. Unironically, what this father is saying in this article. Fucking crazy. They should start publicly castrating these guys. His name is Ooga Booga for all you care. Oh my god. Enma Zirconis, thank you. Say it, Kirsche. Say what you want to say. I can't. I can't. I will be taken to the wall and shot. Wastelander, thank you. There she glows. Good fucking god. They'll be out in 7 with good behavior. At 7? I was thinking maybe like 2. Good fucking god. He is due next to appear in Inner London Crown Court for a plea hearing on May 12th. The Met Police claim to be prioritizing knife crime through targeted patrols in hotspot areas, enhanced by data-driven mapping, stop-and-search powers, and increased officer deployment to tackle serious violent offenses. Yeah, whenever I hear about the police in the UK targeting fucking knife crime. Whenever I hear about them targeting knife crime, I just think about when that civilian had a foreigner detained who was stabbing people, and then the cop detained the native Briton who tried to stop the foreigner from stabbing people, and then the foreigner stabbed the cop. Like that's pretty much what the UK just is now. Think he'll even see a day inside. Optimistic! That was Germany. You think that was Germany? Was it Germany? Oh, they're all blending together. All the police forces in Europe are blending together at this point. That was Germany, and that wasn't actually what happened in that case? Was it not? I'm pretty sure. Let me look it up. Police officer stabbed by migrant after detaining citizen. It was German. Oh, he died. He was German. Oh, there's another one that happened in the US. A legal immigrant who stabbed and shot NYPD officers. I doubt that they held down a native, though. I don't know if I'm gonna get the real story from a shark Al Awast. I just feel like that might not be an unbiased reporting. This is another Afghan with suspected jihadist motives going on trial. Oh, wait a minute. That might be the same one. It's just the trial didn't... Wait, that happened in 2024, and then they were talking about the trial in 2025. Jesus Christ. A Ghost of Aces, thank you. The BBC News right now, the perpetrator's name is something a Christian man would have, right? Just remember the UK police confiscate assault spoons. What in the fuck constitutes as an assault spoon? Alright, well, I can't really find much information on this, so let's go with, let's go with Daily Mail, I guess. Surely this will have the information we desire. Alright, oh my god. Why does this guy look like the quartering? Hold on, wait a minute. What was the quartering doing that day? A spoon with an extended mag! Police officer fighting for his life after being stabbed by knifemen who injured 6 in German city. As video shows, wounded cop mistakenly tackled victim, allowing attacker to continue his rampage before being shot dead. Mistakenly? Or the cop just didn't want to be called racist? A police officer was fighting for his life. Again, this is from 2024. After being stabbed by a knifeman who injured 6 others in a German city. The attacker went on a rampage and stabbed a well-known Islam critic, a police officer, and several bystanders at an anti-Islam rally in Mannheim, Germany, which was live-streamed on YouTube this morning. The officer remains in critical condition after undergoing emergency surgery for multiple hours for 2 stab wounds to the head. The knifeman was shot by officers at the scene. See, I'm surprised they still allow German police officers to have guns. Girugamesh, thank you. Thanks for the circle. Needed to see where the knife was before being stabbed. The officer remains in critical condition after undergoing emergency surgery for multiple hours for 2 stab wounds to the head. The knifeman was shot by officers at the scene and has been named by local outlet Der Spiegel as Sulaiman A, a 25-year-old who was born in Herat, Afghanistan, and lived in the Hesse state. He has undergone surgery and remains in hospital. It is believed the authorities were not previously aware of him. Well... The force was criticized on social media for their handling of the situation after it appeared that the injured officer tackled one of the victims of the attack, seemingly misunderstanding the unfolding situation. No, that just seems par for the course, I'm gonna be real. The video showed that this gave the knifeman an opportunity to stab the officer as his back was turned before the attacker was shot dead. Yeah, so it is exactly as I said. He was arresting the citizen. I didn't know the citizen was a victim, so it's even worse than what I said. He was arresting a victim of the knife stabber to then just get stabbed to death by the stabber. Of course, the white guy's the bad guy. That's the logical person to tackle. True. True. You don't want to be called racist for arresting a brown man, do you? As a consequence, the German government withheld support and salary from the victim, Michael Sturzenberger, as he was a victim of an Islamic terrorist. Wait, what? Ghost of Aces, thank you. Knowing 100% of the things you say would send you to a British jail makes you even prouder to be an American. In your hometown, you would have even gotten one stab in before he was stopped by another citizen, you know? Stupid cop had one job and he fucked it up. Wastelander, thank you. If it's 3D printed, does that make it a ghost spoon? I want the ghost spoon. He really does look like the quartering. That's so funny. What the fuck is this guy? I don't like that. In the face of criticism, police defiantly asked users whether they were present for the attack or only watched the video. It's a bit questionable why the officer misjudged the situation so badly, even though the man was clearly wearing a blue club vest like the others, and it was actually pretty easy to tell the people apart, one person wrote. The police replied asking, does a blue vest mean that you don't commit any crimes? I don't know, I would say maybe the person yelling in a foreign language holding the knife is probably the one committing the knife crime. I don't know, man. In another reply, the force also said, do you think no one else can buy a jacket like that? They were also accused of being incompetent and overwhelmed, to which the force replied, and you were there, or have you ever been in such a situation? Man, this isn't like they were in some fucking cuddle pile on the ground trying to detain him. This cop ran in and detained the wrong person. They detained a victim. Brave SJ, thank you. Ruffians, there's been a misunderstanding. This is the fucking definition of incompetence. The force was also accused of being incompetent and overwhelmed, to which the force replied, have you ever been in such a situation? However, in a statement, Prime Minister Winfried Kretschmann, 76, defended their action, saying anyone who attacks police officers is attacking our democratic constitutional state. Does Winfried Kretschmann, like, heil in the morning? Because what the fuck are we talking about here? What do you mean anyone who attacks police officers? What about the guy that stabbed the officer and not the people criticizing them for being incompetent? What the fuck? Damn, does that go for ICE officers too? Asking for a friend? Mein Freunds, our glorious police state. Germans have never had a democratic nation. He continued, the brutal act of violence in Mannheim has left us stunned. All our thoughts are with the injured and their families. We sincerely hope that everyone will recover. Our thanks go to the police forces who prevented something even worse from happening through their decisive action. I mean, that's fair. Everyone was so confused that the police were arresting the victim, and only the cop who fucked up lost his life. So in theory, it all worked out in the end. Hear that, ladies? If you're one of the 60% of women beaten by cops, you hit him back, you're a traitor. Professor John Wolfman, thank you. What a high school girl counter argument. Since the attack, Michael Starzenberger has taken to Instagram to thank those who helped save him. He wrote, best recovery wishes also to Moritz, who suffered a stab wound in his leg and was operated on for 2 hours, as well as Paul, who was injured on his upper arm and probably lost a lot of blood. He had bravely pulled the alleged Afghan Muslim away from me. Without Paul, everything could have possibly turned out a lot worse. Get well soon also to our 1,000-year-old Rainer, who also suffered knee injuries. You are all heroes of the important patriotic Islamic resistance. Fucking what? My confusion, it grows. Ghost of Aces, thank you. The entire message has been redacted as there are nuclear alarms sounding in your home from the glow. I'm glad we looked this up, because even though I was wrong about it being Britain, it was in fact Germany. It was way worse than what I remembered. What a unique name. The shocking spree unfolded in Mannheim City Center, where anti-Islam campaigner Michael Starzenberger was speaking at an event of the citizens movement Pax Europa, a group that advocates against the Islamization of Europe. I found one of the videos. From the time period of way back then that I said I wish I could find because it showed like just the level of migrants flooding through European borders. However, the thing that I found is used as like the background for a parody song, and I don't think I could play that song on stream without getting banned and cancelled. Glow so bright the US strikes your house preemptively due to a hint that you may be developing nuclear weapons. Shocking spree. Was Hassan involved? I should see the queues in Spain for amnesty. Oh, fuck, dude. I don't think we need to read the remainder of the event, because we figured out what happened. They tried to arrest the stabbing victim, and instead the cop got stabbed and died.
Spicy cat raid. What the hell is this spicy cat raid?
Need more sauce? Thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, Raiders. Let's see here. Flying Nanook, thank you. Remember, honorable chatters, when Kirsche reads glowing articles, you can work out to turn the glowing into muscle and become the himbo that Kirsche needs. True! True, channel your glow into a nice fucking workout, man. I'm still gonna think of that fucking cop story whenever I think of the British cops, even though it was German cops, because, like, they might as well be the same, you know? What's the difference? For every glow, do a push-up. Well, overall, police recorded knife offenses fell 9% in England and Wales in the year ending in September 2025. They remain a top priority. See, I don't even know if I can trust these kinds of statistics anymore, because I know in the US, we fudge our statistics in many different ways. And now, when police aren't even arresting people, or if they arrest them, they just let them go immediately. Like, we just don't record things as much anymore. So did they fall 9% because something was actually done about it, or did they fall 9% because they're just not being reported as much? I would put money on the latter. A Met spokesman said, "Our thoughts are with Finbar's family and friends during their devastating loss." What the heck? What the heck? What the heck is that? What is that noise? Oh, my cat must be fucking with something. Beep. Beep, cat. We understand the concern this incident has also caused in the wider community and has increased the number of officers on patrol in Primrose Hill to provide reassurance and respond to any offending. Pizza done. I have an air purifier near me, and like I said the other day, Cheeseball has been getting fucking gangsta, alright? You thought your air fryer turned itself on? No, it's not air purifier. Which, I mean, I guess it could be frying the air, I don't know. But, like, Cheeseball has been muscling things out of the way and getting into places that he shouldn't be getting into, and I would not be surprised if he's booping buttons. Cheeseball set off the landmines. My cats are playing Counter-Strike with me, and they're the terrorist team. True. Oh no, Cheeseball set off the landmines. I still don't know how he moved 40 fucking pounds of litter. Dude is a 9-pound cat. How does that fucking work? Cheese boy behavior. That means the air is no longer pure. You thought that came from your hotel? I'm sorry. When did your cats get a microwave? Our Royal Parks officers have been integrated into local community policing teams. In Camden, a dedicated local neighborhood team regularly patrols Primrose Hill and surrounding areas. This forms part of a wider policing approach that has cut crime across the Royal Parks by 27% compared to the same period last year. Yeah, I just don't believe you're doing a good job at all, Mr. UK policeman. And I think this father is absolutely fucking disgusting for the way that he's viewing his son's murder. Like, this is not somebody who is family. This is just a gross individual. Now, is it an air impurifier? It spits kibble! One of your new cats has been going insane, opening everything. You have to double magnet your cabinets. I don't know what that means, but should I look into doing that? Can I magnet my cabs? If you don't report the crimes, you cut crime. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, Kier was in Bunkerland. Cheemsball was on his training arc. He was like, I'm gonna show this bitch when she comes back. Alright, what is next in my lineup here? Asmongold tab. Asmongold reveals his very traditional views on marriage. I'm sure I'll agree with everything said in this video.
And the thing is that she's actually not wrong.
So this thing behind him says Maggie Anders, Gen Z influencer, and it says something about at-home boyfriend is a new economic trend. Well, it's not really an economic trend, because if you're a stay-at-home boyfriend, you're not making any income. A stay-at-home wife wouldn't be an economic trend. That would just be a normal wife. House cats can push or move objects that weigh significantly more than their own body weight, often demonstrating strength that allows them to move items up to 50 pounds. The strength is part of their evolutionary design to catch and hold prey. Damn. Cheems ball, you get fed twice a day. Why are you fucking around?
Like, I have very traditional views on marriage. I think that you should be able to earn a living with one person working, and the person working should be the man.
Should be the man, yeah.
And the woman should stay home and take care of the kids.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Never force a woman to do that, but I would want to be in a relationship or a marriage with a woman who wanted to do that.
See, and therein lies the problem. There are too many men who try to turn a hoe into a housewife, and so they complain about being forced to stay home in bondage and slavery and servitude to their husband. But it's like, if you took even half a second to think about things, I would rather be at home, fucking gardening, making food, living with my cats, playing with my baby, rather than having to commute to an office and being a wage slave. Like, that just sounds so much fucking better. How is that slavery? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
How do I know that works? Jeez, guys. I don't know. Maybe, like, all of history? Yeah, maybe maybe like the whole time. Like, that's it. You need capital. Yes, exactly. All of history, maybe. So, what about before with no kids? Well, why would you get married and not want to have kids?
Yeah, that's a good
retarded?
question.
You just date her. That way you can kick her to the curb later on if she gets annoying. Well, I mean, really, like, I mean, well, we gotta say taxes. Just change the way taxes are.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I would do.
No more incentives for single mothers to just shit out kids with no dads. Give it to the married people with kids.
This is beyond me, right? This is what my opinion is that I think that they should change it to where basically if you're married and you only have one person in the family working, you should get a crazy amount of tax benefits.
Yeah.
You should get crazy.
Yeah, you should.
Get more tax benefits, get this, than Somalian scammers in Minnesota.
In fact, we should take all of the benefits the Somalian scammers in Minnesota get and give them to the men who are the sole income provider to their families. That'd be great. Asmongold Verstal. Oh my Jesus. Hello, honorable chatters. You're awake. Hello, awake. Start taxing single mothers to give to intact families with kids. Yeah, call it the your choice tax, right? I can't believe Kirsche would rather stay at home and take care of her family than live with cats and make PowerPoints for a boss that would fire her in a heartbeat to save a nickel, right? Right? And it's like, it's really hard to do this in current year. And I can understand why stay-at-home boyfriends are becoming an economic trend. Because one, American men, and especially white American men, are being rejected from the workforce. So they're having a harder time getting jobs, harder time getting an income to support a family. Meanwhile, women get DEI'd into tons of high-paying jobs. And that's going to flip the way that the traditional relationship typically has been. And you know why that is a double-pronged, terrible idea? How do I word this in a way that people won't get really fucking mad? I don't think there is one. If you're a woman who has prioritized career over family and you're in a high-paying job, or if you're someone like me who's just accidentally found yourself in a decently paying job, thanks to my audience, because this was not exactly the direction I pictured my life going in when I was younger, you know? you're going to have a high income, and you still want a man who is a provider. A man who is a provider for you with high income is going to be someone who either matches or exceeds your income. Men at those income brackets are not looking for 40-year-old career women. You're not going to get that provider man. You're going to get the stay-at-home boyfriend. It's just unreasonable to expect that the only men you will date are going to be someone making equivalent or more than you in money to be able to pick up the tab when you are no longer working. And women, biologically, like men who are providers.
Spicy cat raid. What
So
the hell is
let's
a spicy
take a
cat
second
raid?
here. Let's take a sec. Women like men who are providers. It's attractive that the man provides for you and your children. Now, you are a wealthy woman who does not need a man to provide, but you are also unable to get a man who has a provider income. So instead, you get a stay-at-home husband. A lot of women are going to look down on that stay-at-home husband because he is not a provider, and they have inverted the natural state of things. And it's like, I've talked about this before, because it's like, I want a traditional marriage. I want to have a man that is a provider, but I have to come to terms with the fact that that's likely not going to happen because of the place that I am in life. I am probably not going to find a man that makes as much or more money than I currently do. That is a very, very tiny, limited pool of people. And that becomes even more limited when I put in, I would like a white man. I would like a white man who's not yet bald. All right? Like, messing with the natural order. You don't go messing with the natural order. So it's like, I have to comprehend that, okay, I'm not going to get a provider for a husband. I would still like to be able to stay home when I have a child and take care of it. And so I need to have a man that at least makes okay money. And that's fine, right? It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be insane. I just need at least a guy who's going to provide while at home in a different way. They won't provide financially, but they'll provide via manual labor. And so I should, in theory, be perfectly fine. Reminder that if you date a man with a lower income, you're a dangerous predator because of the power imbalance. Well, fucked. You're like cutting wood and hunting. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Men are not as good at raising small children. It's almost as if society was set up in such a way that fulfilled the needs of both genders. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't think a lot of people will necessarily think about the dynamic implications. Because when you pose like stay-at-home boyfriend, the initial reaction will be like, oh, that's great. I have somebody to take care of like everything I'd need them to. But a lot of women will end up being bored with that arrangement. What constitutes okay money? What if what you make would be considered middle class in much of the country? But in California, it's not a living wage. Thank you, Quando Bandui! My favorite slur man. Thank you. Thank you for the 100 fucking slaves. The slaves' timing was spot on. It
will be hard to match your Findom money. So sad.
So sad. And it's like, what would the average income someone would need to be able to just float in New England, right? Like if there was no mortgage, just property tax and utilities, what would be the average income necessary to be able to pay for those and then also take care of a small child? That's not even society being set up in a particular way. That's just the natural order of the universe. There's probably aliens on the other side of the galaxy who are doing it right. Yep. In New England, $225K. See, I know some people, and I've been talking to like contractors, and so these are like manual labor guys. They do like plumbing, they do electric, they do like just the destruction of walls and putting up new walls and I don't know what the word is for those people. But they're making pretty good money, like over $100K. And they readily say, without my wife, I wouldn't be able to live here. They're still a dual income household. over 100K. And probably somewhere around 80K to 250, depending on the area in New England. My brother was doing paralegal work, and he was making just under 100,000 or so. And he is basically like paycheck to paycheck. It is very expensive in certain areas of New England. You're fooked, Foxu, if it's 300K for a himbo. To be fair, the 75 to 100 is with a paid-off mortgage and living a pretty frugal lifestyle otherwise. I would like to think that if there's no other bills and it's just utilities, fucking that guy with like the manual labor job would be able to provide. And it's wild to think how far that's degraded, right? My grandfather was a glazer, and he managed on a single glazer's income to raise a wife and 4 kids in a house. Waterfront property. My dad was also a glazer, and he took care of me. He only wanted 1 kid. So, you know, that's a lot of donuts. How about 50K and you pop your shirt off from time to time? Fucking sold. Brother went from getting thrown into microwaves to being a paralegal. I can't tell if that's a glow up or not. He has become a great adult. I'm very glad that he managed to get free from the way his upbringing was. Raise a wife? What is a wife but a giant child? Make 150K in Phoenix and you cannot imagine raising a family on your income and you live a simple life? Yeah, it's crazy. A mortgage in New England makes up like 30K a year in mortgage payments. So if you don't have that, you can live off a lot less money. Where are you living in New England that your mortgage payments are only $30,000 a year? That's my fucking question. How are you only paying $30,000 a year in New England? Do you live like near the Canadian border? You barely break 40K in Michigan, but everything's cheap as fuck. It's a very hard situation to be, and I have no idea how we would go back to making single income households normal again. Like, it's gonna take mass deportations. It's gonna take, obviously, getting rid of birthright citizenship and getting rid of all of the anchor babies that were here. But it's also going to take undoing some of the horrendous shit feminism has done. And I don't know if people are ready for that kind of conversation. He lives in the beach shack that we saw. Mortgage, taxes, and insurance are less than 1K a month. I bet you don't live in New England, though. Is that good? 30K a year for that? If I have to think about like what the average house that I've been looking at in New England costs and how much those mortgages are per month, I don't know how someone's paying only 30K a year, man. Mass deportations plus stop wasting time on bullshit plus lower expectations of slaves bringing Uber Eats and medical care and everything. True and fucking real. Would require a policy that only 1 person per household is allowed to work and all salaries must be doubled. Fuck New England now. New Hampshire. Ultra New Hampshire. Mortgages now are fucked. You don't know how anyone can afford these prices now? Yeah, my APR is not the best. It's not great. 30K a year? He bought 20 years ago, I guess. 30K is 2/3 your yearly pay? Wow. I am just in a really lucky position that I live a crazy fucking frugal lifestyle. So all of the immense support you guys have been giving me, I was able to save a giant fucking chunk. And so, like, I know the typical advice is like, put as little down on a house as possible and then pay your monthly mortgage and no extra because you can do much more with that money. And I was like, no, see, I'm in a volatile career going into a volatile housing market. I want to pay off my mortgage as quickly as fucking possible. So if I ever have a falling off, at least I will still own my home. Attack the principal? Yes. I could understand the advice of like invest that money and let it grow elsewhere instead of sinking it into your mortgage like 10 or 20 years ago maybe. I don't think that's reasonable in current year, especially for someone who has a career like I do. Damn, she might have more than 1 brain cell. Yeah. So I had a very thankful ostrich egg saved up to be able to just throw at the principal. And I am very fucking glad for that. You gotta have a place to live. Yep. Just wanna fucking hard pay the house off. Patchouli, thank you, but 30K a year is either just outside of Bangor, Maine, or Hinsdale, New Hampshire. There's no in between. Yeah, what does that come out to monthly? 30 divided by 12? Hold on, where's my calculator? I can't do math. 30 divided by 12. That is 2,500 a month. That's like rent here. That is rent. You ain't gonna find a mortgage for that, man. What the fuck? 2,000 something a month. Yeah. My mortgage ain't great, but that's why I want to pay it off fast. That's exactly your mortgage. Probably don't live in New England though. I'm talking specifically like New England area. I'm sure if you were like northern New Hampshire or northern Maine or northern Vermont, you could probably get a 2.5K a month mortgage. Western Mass, maybe. That's an insane amount. What the hell? That's insane. Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine are livable. I wouldn't say Maine is livable anymore. Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, all dead states. They'll be way worse than the Rust Belt in 50 years. Maine not only has the same Somalian fraud going on that Minnesota has, but they, like Massachusetts, just passed a millionaire's tax. So, people who make real money are going to be fleeing Maine as well. Only reason you're not fucked is that you don't pay rent. Yeah, Maine is giga fucked. The advice, invest and use money elsewhere, is mostly applicable to the rich and wealthy that have money to fall back on. People that won't be in crisis if something goes wrong. It's better to pay extra to end up paying less because of interest. Yeah, I gotta look at like the details because I don't know how long until like I could refinance. Because obviously, if I'm aggressively paying down the principal, I want to eventually refinance it so that I'm not dumping as much into interest, you know? Lower New Hampshire's the bad part. I would say it's bad for pricing, but it's good if you want to live in driving distance of anything relevant, I guess. If you have a mortgage of the fabled times of 2.5% interest rates, then it makes sense to invest elsewhere. Yeah, I could agree with that. If you have one now, you aren't going to do better than paying it down on average. Yep. Since I could technically work anywhere, would I consider moving to a lower quality of life state to get a cheaper house? Absolutely fucking not. The entire reason for how stubborn I was being about buying a house is because starter homes are no longer feasible for any of us anymore. Starter homes are just not real. So any home that I would be buying would be like, I'm going to live here and raise kids here and die here. Like this is where I am until I die. So that's what was driving the stubbornness, as well as I wanted to be near family. And I was dead set on New England as the region of the country I wanted to live in. The only way I would have ever said no to being around my family and being in New England would be if New England had fallen so fucking far that there were just no available reasons to move there for quality of life anymore. And then I would have just gone to like middle of nowhere fucking Montana on 50 acres of land, right? Like, that would have been backup plan if New England had literally completely gone to shit entirely. Starter homes don't exist where you live because of people from other states. Yep. You thought the house was going to be that, and then you saw the quality of the construction, and now you glow 24/7. It's very upsetting to think about the prices of things in New England and then how much I have to spend on repairs as well. Because it's like, it feels to me that with the money I'm spending, I should not have to do any kind of repairs, but you know, when people are greedy when picking a loan, you got a 30-year loan at 2% at a time. A flex loan would be cheaper, but now your 30-year loan is much cheaper than a flex loan. Stop being greedy, get a used car and a small house, and save up more each month. I can't tell if you're retarded or not. I can't tell if you're retarded or not, because it's not about being greedy. And the used car market is also fucked thanks to the Cash for Clunkers program, essentially pricing poor people out of being able to afford a vehicle in general. Like, my brother was talking to me, and he was like, I had to sell my car because I couldn't keep up with the payments. And it's just like, think of that for a second. Someone making almost $100,000 in a year, struggling to, like, keep car payments going. That's not how homeownership works. I know, I hate it. Yeah, used car not always the best option. Is that a boomer? Thanks, Obama. Unplug that chatter's life support. Oh my god. Mods take his balls. Yeah. Yeah, like, I probably could have got a house for, like, maybe 200,000 less than what is mortgaged for me, but, like, it would have been a crack shack that I would have dumped way more than that 200,000 into to try and make livable. So it didn't make any feasible sense to do so. It's true, you need a car and they all hold their value. Like 125k miles means nothing now. Yep. You've lived in 5 states and now you don't know where you'd want to live. After going around the country, I've been to a lot of different states. I haven't been to some, so like, you know, I haven't been to Texas yet. But I've been to a lot of places around the US and I could not imagine living anywhere else besides New England. You have to make crack in the crack shack. The guy lost ball privileges and foreskin privileges. John in English, thank you. You're so happy your Oshi's not dumb. Yes, starter homes effectively don't exist. The only things that count for starter homes now are crack sheds with bad foundations and copper strip from walls. There were people in chat who wouldn't believe me with how bad the market was in New England until I started bringing up houses and going through them with everyone. Like, yeah, let's just buy the house that has, like, demonic temples inside of it and is placed on ley lines, alright? Does my house come with a meth lab to earn extra income on the side? Unfortunately, no. I guess I could dig one out though, right? I could make like a second basement for the meth lab. Also the fact that Kirsche has acquired an appreciating asset, you can sell it at any point in the future and make bank. Wow! The housing market is still like kind of depreciating. There are some houses that I made offers on previously. I think I've talked about them before. And they were priced like way above where they should have been. And so, like, as an example, there was a $1.8 million house I was watching to go down because I was like, no one's paying 1.8 for that. That's like 1.1 at best. All right. And they brought it down to 1.5. And then they brought it down to 1.3. And then they brought it down to 1.1. And after I was already locked into an offer somewhere else, I saw them bring it down to like 1,050,000. I was like, yeah, bro, get fucked, retards. You rejected my offer and thought you would do better, and now you're having to lower it even further. Get fucked! You've lived in the Northwest, the Carolinas, currently Texas. After those 3 different places, you just know that you want to live up north and near the coast. You refuse to go back to the West Coast. That leaves only New England. If you are a liberty-minded individual, look at New Hampshire. Everywhere else seems to be just trying to fuck over people who make money. What you don't understand is how any of my chatters ever thought homes in New England were reasonably priced. You've spent all nearly 40 years knowing that New England and the West Coast are stupid expensive. I think if you haven't been to New England, or if you haven't, like, seen stuff in New England, you could probably just assume, oh, it's cost the same amount as everywhere else. Only New York and California are expensive. New England was insane when I first started looking for houses. Like, actually fucking insane. How's the housing market in Exeter? Exeter's not, like... I wouldn't say it's, like, super crazy expensive, but it's still southern New Hampshire, so it's going to be more expensive than anything north of Manchester. Friend of yours bought a small piece of land, and one of the new pre-built homes literally comes in a container. Those are what they want people to view as starter homes? Yeah, that's fucking shit, bro. That's fucking shit. And they know a lot of people will buy them, right? Because, you know, the old saying goes, men buy a house and women make it a home. Men would be absolutely fine just, like, living in a container with, like, a bed and a computer and, like, a little burner stove. Like, they're just like, yeah, I don't care. It works. It's efficient, you know? And I think that's the reason they can sell a lot of those fucking, like, starter homes, because a lot of people will just buy them anyways for efficiency reasons. And it's sad. Are we buying women? Not yet. Talked up New Hampshire a lot. You're thinking of taking a look. Job market is probably going to be a filter, though. It really depends. I know a few people who have gone to New Hampshire recently, and they were able to get jobs before even moving out there. It really depends on, like, what you do. If you do any kind of manual labor stuff, you will get a job very fucking easily. Very easily. Like, the amount of contractors I've talked to, I was like, oh, hey, I was staying, you know, with my friends in this other state, and a lot of them do, you know, like drywall and plumbing and construction type stuff. And every single one of the contractors were like, here's my card. If they ever come out here, call us. We need more people. Every single one of them was like willing to offer a job just on me saying like, I know these guys who do manual labor. Like, not even talking about like qualifications or anything. Just like, here's my card. If they come, we want them. Like that is how easy it is if you're in a trade job. But again, it's going to be difficult to afford being here on just that salary. Your rent just outside the 495 loop of Boston for a tiny 2-bedroom condo with a kitchenette is nearly $4K a month. Yeah, it's insane. Insane. And I don't know how reciprocity goes, because like you have to get licensed in each state for depending on like what your trade is. Some states offer reciprocity to other states, and other states you have to like retake your exams or whatever. 4K outside the 495 loop. What the fuck? That's pretty fucking normal, brother. That's unfortunately very normal. The job market is actually decent. When I was considering like, hey, I just want to like get out of Georgia, maybe I can look at something to rent in New England until I find a house. No. People are like, rent a bedroom for $3,000 a month. Not even a whole ass apartment. They're just like, hey, we're in this apartment building together. It's got 5 bedrooms. Each of us are paying thousands of dollars in rent. It's like, it's insane. It's so stupid. 3K for a bedroom. It's fucking wild out here. If rich streamer can afford bedroom. Yay, bedroom! Rent out 2 rooms for €300 a month if someone wants to visit France. Back in your day, you're able to find a unit inside 128 for 1.6K a month. You didn't think that was that long ago? Oh my god. You're gonna be a plumber next year once your wife becomes a dental hygienist. Ooh, that's a fun couple. Vote for you next election. You'll fix the economy by nuking the West Coast, NYC, Denver, and Boston. Do not nuke the commies. They're like cockroaches. They'll just come back. Depending on where you are in New Hampshire, you can make it work and still have money to save. I remember looking at some places in New Hampshire that were like just rental places. I did find a couple of places that were only like $2,000 a month, but that was still far more than I was paying in Georgia, and they were in very questionable, my mother would probably live here areas. You've seen it happen. ICE has been going to construction sites. Those jobs are in demand. Oh, hell yeah. Worst part is any new starter home nowadays is built worse than a cardboard box. Also true, unfortunately. Gonna be hell when you kiss your wife and she comes out of it saying, you've got a cavity. She can taste the cavities. Bro, it's so easy. Just have 3 or more roommates in a small apartment that won't complain about your random screaming required by your job. Dover, New Hampshire does look like a nice place to live with easy commuting options to Boston, Mass. With rail. Yeah. I had my Oma, so my grandma on my mom's side. She's a woman, and so she made a really, really fucking dumb mistake, and she sold a very nice house that she owned, fully paid off. She sold this house because she was like, I'm gonna move to the middle of nowhere. And then she moved to the middle of nowhere and realized, oh fuck, I don't have a husband and now I can't get people to help me easily because I live in the middle of fucking nowhere. And her house that she sold appreciated like crazy because it's in the middle of an area that's like very desirable near a downtown spot. And I was just like, I will never be as dumb as this woman, I pray. But she would like drive to the commuter rail and take the train into Boston. You're so glad your grandma never sold the family home. Not just starter homes, 1 million+ new builds or death traps with 5 figures of repairs needed right off the bat. Yep. They just don't make them like they used to, and when you hire shitty labor, you get shitty results. Oh my, you do adore the random German word. Fun fact, Italians also call their grandma and grandpa Oma and Opa. You're jealous that the rail fares from Dover to Boston is some of the cheapest intercity rail fares, around 26 one way, and not having to deal with the MBTA thanks to Amtrak. Ooh. You got a family member selling a house in Akron. If any chatters want to live on the edge, I would never go to Ohio. I saw some beautiful Victorians in Ohio, but then I'd have to live in Ohio, you know? The David guy finally got arrested. I have that in my tab somewhere. At least I thought I did. I like vaguely remember looking it up before stream. Star Phoenix, thank you. The plumber husband and the dental hygienist wife. She takes care of the hole where the food goes into, and he takes care of the pipes where the food comes out. It's perfect synergy. Can't have your cat get eaten by random forest critters if you live downtown. True. True and real. There must be somewhere nice in Ohio. Funny thing about Dova, your friend owned the house of the creator of the Ninja Turtles that owned when he was young. In it had old graffiti of the Ninja Turtles with a signature in the basement. You got a lot of cool pictures of them. That's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty cool. I saw, when I was like looking for houses in the middle of last year, I saw a few that had like streamer setups in them. And I was like, who the fuck is out here being a streamer? I don't know any streamers in the New England area. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Ohio has little pockets of nice houses. It's true that your cat won't get eaten by random forest creatures in the city. It'll just get eaten by random foreign creatures. Well, just don't let him out of the house, obviously. Obviously. Ohio is surprisingly affordable. Well, that's because it's Ohio. And speaking of Ohio, the New York Times tells us the story of an illegal alien couple from Honduras who were expecting their first child. After being deported last year due to a charge for drug possession, they snuck back across the U.S. border, a felony, to ensure that their son would be born as an American. They were then deported, yet again, but their son is now an American citizen with the same rights as you and I. This is why the Supreme Court needs to overturn birthright citizenship. 1,000%. That's not an American, that's a Guatemalan. And they tried to exploit our system by coming back here a second time illegally, committing a felony in order to make sure that paperwork-wise, their baby was an American so they could have access to our systems. This should not happen. This should not be allowed. And this is an excerpt saying, her baby, Gail, was born a month early in South Texas Hospital. As Gail slept, the officer explained that a bus had arrived to take Miss Acosta back to the detention center where she had lived for the past 3 months. It was time to say goodbye. Miss Acosta felt her whole body tremble as she moved away from her son. A 27-year-old immigrant from Honduras, she and her partner had crossed the southern border in the fall, when Miss Acosta was about 6 months pregnant after being deported from the United States the previous spring. The couple knew they were taking a chance when they began their 1,700-mile journey back to the U.S. But to give their first child together a chance at American citizenship, to be born on U.S. soil, they had agreed that they would do anything. And this is why we need to stop this. It puts many people in danger. It takes advantage of our systems paid for by American people. This should not be happening. That baby is Honduran, not American, and it should not have any rights equal to mine under the American Constitution. Your cousin did graffiti of the Ninja Turtles on your childhood bedroom wall with massive mushrooms in the background because he was a pothead. You laid awake at night in terror as you watched them grow larger. We had someone do some kind of a mural on my brother's bedroom wall at one point, but I can't remember what it was. It was also graffiti style. This almost sounds like they kept the kid. It sounds like the kid gets to stay in the US and now goes into foster care because they have no one that's an American to take care of them. Which, that should not be the case. This baby should go home to Guatemala with its parents. This child is not ours. It is not our problem. Let it go home with its family. Any child of modern immigrants is not an American, true and fucking real. But it's just like, stuff like this is what should make people very, very angry. They word it in a way to try and tug at your heartstrings, but again, we cannot accept everyone from the world here. They have their own problems, and that's sad, and that sucks, but they are their problems and not ours. You painted a huge Mighty Ducks logo on your cousin's wall once. Let's see. Oh, shit. We have an update on this guy. Absolute monster named Tesfaye Cooper, the same thug who tortured a disabled white teenager. It was a big deal because they kidnapped a disabled white man and brutally tortured them on Facebook Live, is back on the streets. The twist, he just got arrested again. He chased down a cyclist who waved at him, beat him, spat on him, and screamed "gangster disciples," and then stole the bike. Released after only 7 years for the first savage attack. In a saner penal system, this predator would never see daylight again.
What? Donald Trump. Fuck white people, boy. Fuck bitch.
Goof. That's crazy that you can kidnap and torture a white man while saying fuck white people and then only get 7 years. That's crazy.
Go! On bro grave, your ass ugly on bro. Your ass on bro grave, your ass ugly. Bitch.
Hey, you can open that other bag.
So I don't think we need to watch the full video of the torture from 7 years ago, but we have an article. Man behind the infamous 2017 Facebook torture case arrested again, this time for robbery at Loop CTA station. In a town like Chicago, a crime has to be pretty horrific to warrant its own Wikipedia page and draw the attention of Barack Obama. But Tesfaye Cooper and 3 accomplices managed to achieve both of those tasks when they kidnapped an 18-year-old white man with special needs in 2017 and tortured him in a hate crime they live-streamed on Facebook. Based actual news place calling it a hate crime. This is like, I know people want hate crimes gotten rid of entirely, and they probably should be because it is commie fucking subversive nonsense. But it does feel nice when they finally apply them to people genuinely hating white people. When Cooper pleaded guilty, Judge William Hooks revealed at sentencing that he had met with the victim's family, and they had gone out of their way to make sure support services would be in place when Cooper got out of prison. Did I read that right? When Cooper pleaded guilty, Hooks revealed at the sentencing that he had met with the victim's family and they had gone out of their way to make sure support services would be in place when Cooper got out of prison. Why would the victim's family make sure that there was any support for the murderer of... I guess it wasn't a murder, he was still alive, but for the guy that tortured their child? Like, what the fuck? Sorry, I'm so used to it being a murder that I had to correct myself, chat. Like, what the actual fuck? Why? I would be happy that my child is alive, but I would absolutely not want to make sure support is given to the violent person that kidnapped and tortured them. Especially when there was a racial component. Like, what the actual fuck? I guess the parents were special needs too. They're interested in making sure that there are some resources that are available that will help you, Hooks said, according to a Sun-Times report published in 2018, to make you understand that hatred is not something that is going to be a possibility for you when you get out. I hope they feel like fucking retards. Like, what the actual fuck? What? I want to know what's going through their, like, one brain cell between the both of them right now. Man, I wonder how much they support their fucking son. If their son wasn't mentally ill, he would probably be very upset about this. Some people really need the frog and the scorpion story. Did the family get blackmailed or something? I don't know, man. Cooper, 30, was arrested last Wednesday afternoon shortly after he and an accomplice chased down, attacked, and robbed a bicyclist on the Clark Lake CTA station mezzanine. Court records show. Perhaps coincidentally, the victim was a white man. I'm so shocked that the man who hates white people targeted a white man in another attack after he got out of prison. Wow! Who could have seen this coming? Surely not the family of the first victim. Also charged in the attack is Mozzie Pearson, a 33-year-old man who had active warrants for failing to appear in 4 pending felony cases. In a detention filing, prosecutors said a 48-year-old Cicero man waved at Pearson and Cooper as he passed them on his bike near Clark and Lake Streets around 1:30 p.m. Pearson and Cooper responded to the man's wave by claiming to be GDs, slang for gangster disciples, and chasing the victim into the Clark Lake station, according to the filing. How dare this white man wave at these strong black kangs? Doesn't he know his place? Once inside the station, the victim paid his fare while Cooper and Pearson chased him through the turnstile and backed him up against the mezzanine elevator, prosecutors said. With the victim cornered, Pearson allegedly punched him in the shoulder. A CPD report said Cooper approached the victim at the same time with a closed fist and tried to strike him while Pearson spat in the man's face. You know, for someone racist enough to hate white people, I'm surprised that this guy didn't die. You know, silver linings and all. He's still alive. Pearson allegedly tossed the victim's bike over the turnstile and walked out with Cooper, taking the bike with them. A CTA security guard witnessed the robbery, prosecutors said. What the fuck's the point of a security guard if they're not going to stop a robbery taking place? Like, what is even the fucking point? Why would you... A security guard witnessed the How about the security guard stops the robbery? Am I crazy? What the fuck? Damn, look at those tattoos. A victim called 911 with a description of the robbers. Arriving officers saw Cooper and Pearson run out of a nearby building as they were arriving on the scene, according to the detention petition. Pearson surrendered on the spot, and the cops recovered the victim's bike about 25 feet away in a flower bed. Another set of officers arrested Cooper about a block away. Prosecutors said Pearson was carrying 10 bags of suspect heroin and 4 bags of suspect cocaine when he was arrested. If you're going to commit crime, why do you have that on you? As a black man, you're disgusted by parts of your community justifying behavior because of the past. You're tired of it. Also, why is this guy getting support? It's ridiculous. This results from brainwashing a generation of white people to hate themselves. Need to stop the anti-white movement. Hard fucking agree. Like, we had it shoved into us to like never hate somebody based on the color of their skin, and that should go for yourself as well. The like insane level of white self-hatred to just feel guilty all the time and actively throw away things that will improve your life is just crazy to me. It's just crazy. Curb, that's not your community. I mean, I would say the same thing. I'd be like, I wouldn't put him in the same bucket with like these kinds of people, right? Ain't no way. As a black man, these stories and the obvious mentality that suspects like this harbor is what black pills you the most. Words can't truly express your horror, sadness, and disappointment. It's really scary sometimes, you know? The guy streamed himself doing a hate crime. Can't expect a lot from him. 7 years, man. All 4 of his pending felony cases involve allegations that he shoplifted from Macy's in the Loop, according to court records. He stopped showing up for court in those cases in November. Warrants have been active since then. Cooper is charged with robbery. Pearson is charged with robbery and 2 counts of possessing a controlled substance. Judge Luciano Panici Jr. ordered both men held pending trial. Well, at least he was smart enough to fucking hold them, but Jesus Christ. What happened to those resources that the first victim's family wanted this guy to have for when he got out of prison? Did those resources help? Somehow I don't think so. Solid G-Chin, thank you for the member. Glenn, thank you. As a security guard, you're only required to report a crime. You usually have the training or gear to stop a crime, but at best, we can defend ourselves. See, like, if I'm gonna hire a security guard, I'm gonna expect the security guard to, like, do the thing. Is someone robbing my store? Security guard, that's what I hired you for. I was like, why would I hire a security guard if they're not gonna actually detain people, is my thing, you know? That's gone. We know it's gone. God damn, dude. That's an Italian name. What? Starvin ACP, thank you for the 26 months, my guy. Thank you. 26 months. Thanks for the white pills. With the other guns outside the vector, would I say I like? I'm trying to do random game loadouts, and you're curious what the Foxy would run. I like P90s! P90s are very cute. They're very cute. Security guard probably didn't want to lose his job for intervening, Kirsche, given stupid laws probably in Chicago. If there are laws that prevent security guards from doing their job, those are not real laws. Those are put in place to stoke fear and violence in the population. I am my own security guard. The bullpups. P-chan. Oh shit, everyone. Those guns are gay now. Fuck, man. Security guard is only required to fed post during his shift. Thanks, I hate it. Oh yeah, expanding on that story we read about like 2 weeks ago. You guys remember the fucking quadruple amputee who got arrested for murdering someone by shooting them with a gun or some shit? Well, there's an update. The quadruple amputee cornhole pro player Dayton Weber is now pictured with a swastika star days before gunning down his friend. I don't know how this story could get any fucking crazier. We're running out of new sentences to be created. Dreadhe, thank you. Sometimes you think white folks are being dramatic about your fellow American flavor of black folks, and then you see people like this and remember your great ×5 grandfather was an owner and you're not a thug. Damn, bro. That is crazy. And you know, I wish I could say that it's like being over dramatized. It would be nice if that was the case. Glenn, thank you. It's what the state allows us to do most of the time. It's all about liability. Thanks, I hate it. What if he's only a quadriplegic because his limbs had Nazi tattoos as well? Someone just cut off his limbs and carved the swastika on it. That looks like the fucking Hortler. Like, it doesn't even look real, man. Like, somebody did that to him, dude. So, of course, I opened the article. Wait, no, that's the David article. I didn't open the article because I'm retarded. If you had a nickel for every time a quadruple amputee shot someone, you'd have 2, which isn't a lot, but how the fuck has it happened twice? Quadruple amputee cornhole pro player Dayton Weber pictured with swastika scar days before gunning down pal. The disturbing mark appeared to be carved into his gut and was clearly visible in a cache of footage obtained by TMZ that shed more light on the alleged killer's shady past. Anyone who actually whole Hortlers wouldn't draw it like this, right? Like it wouldn't look this way. So it feels like someone did this to this guy for some reason. Metadata dates the image to March 16th, 2026, less than a week before Weber, 27, is accused of fatally shooting his longtime pal, Bradrick Michael Wells. He looks like a happy lesbian and not a quadruple amputee in this picture. Another concerning clip shows Weber, who was indicted on first-degree murder charges in Maryland on Monday, chugging brown liquor from a handle in the driver's seat of a car with white powder scattered across the center console. So what you're saying is that he needed to be high on cocaine and drunk before he murdered someone? That clip is dated back to July 2025, according to TMZ. Another video from earlier that year allegedly shows Weber, an accomplished hunter and outdoorsman, firing a handgun. Weber is facing life in prison after he allegedly shot Wells in his Tesla after the pair got into a heated argument on March 22nd, while driving with 2 other friends to his house. The amputee's lawyer, Hamad Martin, told reporters outside the courthouse on Monday the fatal shooting was an act of self-defense. This is such a goofy fucking photo. He's wearing like fucking marine stripy swim trunks, a white t-shirt, a clown mask with yellow teeth. I was like, what am I even looking at, man? He's the Jorkler. Weber allegedly shot and killed Bradrick Wells. Oh, I didn't know the person he shot was black. That makes sense why they're toting out the swastika tattoo. He had to kill or be killed. That's what this case is, Matten said. What? What? How is he gonna be killed? What is he? What kind of a defense is that? If they somehow managed to pull off a this was in self-defense, I would be very shocked. I love how he has a mask on as if not having no arms and legs isn't going to be a dead giveaway. Maybe he lives in like a small circus town with multiple quadruple amputees. I think the evidence is going to be clear that this was not planned, something that was not premeditated, the attorney said. This was someone in fear who did not know how to handle a situation that was such a traumatic event. This has always been a self-defense case. He is not guilty. Bro, I'm gonna need some evidence if you're gonna tell me this was a nugget self-defense, alright? Like, I need to know more information. What happened in that vehicle? The nugget knock! Weber, who was driving with a prosthetic leg. What? He doesn't even look like he has a prosthetic. That's pretty impressive. Weber, who was driving with a prosthetic leg, had accused Wells of stealing from him, and at the peak of the fight, he pulled out a P365 Sig Sauer, pointed it at Wells in the passenger seat, and pulled the trigger, according to the pair's 2 friends who were in the back seat at the same time. Man. Do you think Batman would hold back beating up the Nuggler? My chicken nugget! How did he get outdrawn by the fucking nugget? Yeah, I agree. The story is generating questions at an alarming rate. I have more questions than anything has been answered. The alleged gunman made a name for himself as a professional cornhole player in the American Cornhole League despite being an amputee. He lost his lower arms and legs to a bacterial infection when he was just 10 months old, according to a 2023 ESPN profile. How did the Nugget manage to draw his gun and kill this other guy before the other guy could react or the people in the back seat could stop him? I don't know. Maybe I've just not interacted with a lot of nuggets, but I feel like a normal human would be able to disarm a nugget relatively quickly. Oh, God. Cornhole makes you laugh every time. The Nugginator. Intensive cornhole training? That's gay. Cornhole gives power? I mean, I guess so. What would you grab? How did they give him handcuffs? I think we saw a picture of him with handcuffs when I covered this at first, but like, now I have more questions. Who put this swastika on him? Because this is not correct. So I can't believe that this was him being like, yeah, white nugget power. You know, like I can't picture that. But then you tell me he shoots a black guy with an SS and I'm like, hold on, maybe it does make sense. I don't know. The shorter arms, they move faster. Nothing faster than a 5-year-old grabbing something. Dready, thank you. How did the nugget quick draw on a grown man? How did he get robbed by a nugget? What did he steal? What was he being accused of stealing? Maybe he's a slippery skunk because, you know, instead of a full 5-finger discount, he gets both arms, you know? Like, here you're wondering who was buying so much cornhole stuff a couple of years ago. He probably tried to do it himself, but, you know, the lack of arms and all. Just trying to picture someone being a quadruple amputee while espousing white power is incredibly comedic. Behold! The greatest threat to North America! White nugget supremacy! Furious Dan, thank you. This nugget is white meat only. Man, I fucking accidentally ate a mixed meat pie the other day.
Girl.
I fucking hate dark meat. I'm a white meat supremacist when it comes to birds. And so I had a pie that had white and dark meat in it, and I was like, damn, this tastes really fucking gross. I wonder why. Usually I like this. It turns out it's because it had dark meat in it, so. Please, I'm eating. I'm going to choke. Please don't choke. I can't be held liable for your death. So your question is, how the fuck does the Nuggler throw up the old Seek? How does he heil with no arm? You heard of spaghetti westerns? Now get ready for the nugget western. I'd watch the nugget western, man. I'd watch it. He had a decent nugget and it repulsed you. Oh my god, you'd ask how he pays for gas since it's an arm and a leg, but he drove a Tesla. Kill Jin, thank you. Oh yeah, dark meat makes you gag so badly. There's just something real gross about it, man. I got super disappointed when I went to a chicken tendy restaurant where their like entire shtick was chicken tendies. That's all they did. And it was made with fucking dark meat! The good, the bad, the nugget. That's why I hate, oh god, what's that Boston fucking restaurant that's really shitty and it's all over Florida? Chat, what's the Boston restaurant? It literally has Boston in the name. And it's all over Florida. Kirsche choked on dark meat. Stop! You'll start getting the groypers around again. Oh, thank you, chat. Boston Market. Boston Market is disgusting because they use a lot of dark meat. I fucking hate Boston Market. Holy shit. You lost your local Boston Market years ago. Good! They have shitty food! He could write one hell of a biography, but yeah, no. What the fuck? Dark meat is best meat. All thigh meat all the time. Gross. Gross! When Weller confronted him about stealing, did he say, I caught you red-handed? And did he reply with, but I don't have any hands? I would probably make people so fucking tired with the jokes that I would make if I was a nugget. South Park was right all along. You liked it in college, but they're all gone now. The Nug Forgiven! You just realized that we should all own a dino costume and carry it everywhere just in case we meet a quadruple amputee so we can make a dino nugget. Oh, that's true. If you encounter a nugget in the middle of a theft or a robbery or some other thing, you can citizen detain him and put him in the dino costume. And then when the cops come and they ask for the person that you've citizenly detained, you can say, yes, officer, right here. This is my dino nugget. Oh my god, the setup would take so fucking long. But can you imagine the payoff? I need this in my life now. That was not an invitation to draw Kirsche as a nugget. Ozihara has already done that for some reason. But speaking of nuggets, they finally arrested David! We've spent like a year going over this David case. There was a singer named David who was apparently very, very popular. I had literally never heard of this man until he committed murder, allegedly. And they found a woman that he was in a relationship with. She was a minor, by the way. She was 14 when she went missing, and he is a whole-ass adult. They found her dead and disembodied, disembodied, right? That's the word to use when she got like her parts cut up and shit. They found her in a trash bag in the back of his car that had been abandoned with her limbs cut apart, and she was obviously decomposing. Dismembered, thank you, chat. It's almost 8 o'clock somehow. Fucking, I hate time. And they were like, we just don't know who did it. We just don't know. Who could possibly have done this? And then every time we read a follow-up article, it was more and more obvious that he had done it. But there were so many journalists who were just like, oh, David was a great singer. Look at all these things he's trying to achieve in his young age. And here's his concert tour. And here are the dates of his albums. And go listen to his music on Spotify. Like, every single article was like ball washing this guy. And I couldn't fucking understand it. Like, you guys remember? I was losing my fucking mind. I was like, why is everyone treating him like some special fucking star and not the alleged murderer that he is? David made his own nugget. Why are today's tabs nugget themed? You know, sometimes we have fun here. David was taken out of his home in handcuffs, surrounded by officers from the LAPD after he was arrested Thursday. Video footage obtained by the California Post shows the singer with his hands behind his back as he's led down a residential street in the Hollywood Hills. Insane. The singer, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, had not been seen for months prior to his arrest Thursday afternoon. He emerged wearing gray sweatpants and a black hoodie and seemed expressionless. A neighbor told the Post she witnessed so many cops on the street just before the singer was taken into custody. One officer was on a loudspeaker outside the home shouting "surrender," according to the neighbor. Authorities swarmed the Hollywood Hills home where the singer was staying to make the arrest. We came to the home with a probable cause arrest warrant for him, LAPD Robbery Homicide Division Commanding Officer Captain Scott Williams said to the California Post on the scene. We did the best we can to keep tabs on him, but once we developed probable cause to arrest him for murder, then we were on him pretty diligently. That's the Celeste Rivera's, the woman that he murdered, allegedly. LAPD confirmed to the Post that Burke was arrested for the murder of Celeste Rivas. The dismembered body of the 14-year-old was discovered in the back of a Tesla belonging to David back in September, after employees in a tow yard smelled a foul odor coming from the vehicle. Detectives from Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested David Burke, a 21-year-old resident of Los Angeles, for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail, and the case will be presented to the District Attorney's Office on Monday for filing consideration. Man, that's a girl, Foxy, not a woman. Yeah, she's 14. Our office is aware of the arrest of David Anthony Burke by the Los Angeles Police Department. The case is expected to be presented to the Major Crimes Division, at which point prosecutors will review the facts and evidence to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to file charges. A release from the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office said, "At this time, additional information is not available. We will share an update on Monday once a filing decision has been made," the release continued. Now, see, my biggest question here: why did it take them so long to establish probable cause? Rivas's family reported her missing in April 2025. We have been following this for so fucking long. Holy shit. This cunt artist, you hope he gets euthanized in court? You know, it's in California, and I don't think they have the death penalty because they're a cuck state, but I wish they did for people like him specifically. The internet knew he was guilty for ages. Yeah, it was pretty obvious to, like, anyone with a functioning frontal lobe that he was guilty. But, like, again, all of the journalists were just sucking his cock, and it was so fucking weird. And I think instead of putting this update in, like, a video where I just go over news stories for the day, I think doing a recap on, like, everything that brought us to him getting arrested would probably be a good thing. I don't know if it would be, like, spliced in between me going over the, like, current article, or if we should do the current article front-loaded or behind the rest of it, but, like, holy fuck, this has been a long-ass saga. Can't prove he had sex with her. Boy, they've said that they were in a relationship. They had matching tattoos. Pretty sure there's no jurisdiction in the country where they'd euthanize defendants in court. We should euthanize the murderer, man. Dreadhe, thank you. YouTube ate your super about this guy. In less aggressive words, put him in the chair. Yeah, put him in the box, man. Handy Tool Boy, thank you. Hi, Foxy. YouTube for some reason lagged and was on the Nugget story and then skipped to this. You're blown away at the idea of the Nugget dismembering someone. You're disappointed at the real story. Yeah, no, I would have been impressed if a Nugget did that too. For real. You don't know, you think that'll just depress everyone? What? What? Start with a summary, then do the geez, how did I get here stinger before doing the full review. And that's how I met your mother. You want to know what they found on him besides being found in his car? True. Theory is that she might have gotten pregnant, thus revealing the baby's father would implicate him in a crime. Huh. Help. People have gotten less creative with their execute. Look, man. We don't need to get creative with executions. That's how, like, ISIS started making Hollywood production value videos of killing their prisoners. What's worse, even if he's found guilty and sentenced to life without parole, he'll be out in 20 to 30 years because of dumbass parole laws? Yep. Yep, we really need to overhaul our justice system. I would love to take a page out of President Bukake's book, man. Love that guy. You didn't know, all nuggets have a special ability where if they get you to low enough HP, they can instantly turn you into another nugget. I don't like that. Do not nuggetize me, Captain. Do not do this. What else? What else is in my tabs? We got a video here. This guy, Mullen, we're still deporting illegals, but we're doing it in a more quiet way because my goal in 6 months is to not have DHS on the lead story every day.
Have a different leadership style. We're still enforcing immigration laws. We're still deporting illegals that shouldn't be here. We're still going after the worst of the worst. But we're doing it in a more quiet way because my goal in 6 months is to not have DHS on the lead story every day. We want to make sure people understand we're here working for the people, not against you.
What should we do, Secretary, to one of the key demands of
So, chat, I don't know anything about this Mullen guy, and it's a little harder to pick up on because of his southern accent, but he has gay accent. He's got the gay accent. And so I'm just picking that up. This guy sucks cock. Does he look cute to you? Not particularly, but he still has gay accent. That's a disappointing statement from here. What does that mean? Every day helps us know they're actually out there, though. And Jesse Kelly responded and said, why is the goal to avoid bad press? If that's the goal, then the communists succeeded with their anti-deportation op. Communists create bad press, so you change your policy. Deportations have slowed, the op was successful. And this is why I've been saying politicians need to stop caring about, like, the optics here. Once politicians say, fuck the optics, we're going to do what needs to be done, then not only will things get done, but the edges of the Overton window will shift enough where people underneath politicians will start being able to say things without getting fired or without getting canceled. Arismador, thank you. The only thing that bothers
me about Bukele's fix everything switch is that while that prison population exists, someone could flip that switch right back after he leaves power. A fuck everything switch, if you will.
I agree. I agree, someone could press the fuck everything up again switch. But if you have someone in power who has pressed the fix everything switch, you would have to just try your best to vote for people who would continue that switch in its on position and not press it to the fuck everything up again position. And if they do switch it to the fuck everything up again position, the only response would be something I cannot say or advocate for. Thank you, Arismador. Bukele has an almost 80% approval rating. He's not leaving anytime soon. That's the hope, man. People will support them too, you know? But I thought that was interesting. Mullen is a backstabbing scumbag, promoting immigration as soon as he gets the job. Garbage like him and his hypocrisy is enough to start a civil war. Apparently, I really don't know enough about this guy, because I don't know anything about that. What the heck? And speaking of representatives that need to be removed from having a seat of power, this says, serving the great people of, I'm pretty sure NE is Nebraska, 02. Please correct me if Nebraska is not NE. I'm very bad with acronyms. Mr. Don Bacon said removing TPS status for Haitians living in the United States would cost 350,000 workers their ability to work at a time we're already facing serious workforce shortages. Good! Good! They can go get work in Haiti! What do you mean? I've heard from healthcare providers and business leaders across Nebraska, I was right, including Omaha Chamber, who are concerned about the impact this would have on patient care and our economy. A good impact! It would only have a good one! Shut the fuck up! I don't see the goodness of deporting people who are here legally, working and contributing to our country. Because they're not contributing to our country. They're contributing to sending that money back to their home country. They're not here legally. Why can't Congress represent us? And he said they are here legally. Given temporary protected status should mean temporary, not expanding it forevermore. People like Mr. Bacon here make me completely against any kind of temporary protected status, regardless of the circumstances. Because if you're going to keep that temporary as permanent instead, why the fuck would I care? Also, why the fuck does Mr. Bacon have so many Oshi marks? Somebody should tell him you're only supposed to pick 2, buddy. But Kirsche, the T stands for permanent. Fuck off, Kobe! Someone said the first tranche might have burned legal and temporary. I don't know what that means. The bulk snuck in and wormed their way into TPS. Why do you hate Americans so much? Very honest question. And then Mr. Don Bacon, who needs to be removed by any means necessary, says, I will vote my Christian and American values. You've now convinced me to look at Venezuela and El Salvador TPS. Thanks. This American representative, in response to Americans not wanting foreigners here longer, is saying, I will vote on my Christian and American values to keep more foreigners here because fuck you. This is a man who does not give a shit about Americans. This is a treasonous statement. This man is, for all intents and purposes, committing treason. He is not a Christian. He is not an American. And accepting everyone and everything to your own detriment, if that was a Christian or American value, then Christianity and America both should be fucking dismantled. You, sir, Mr. Bacon, do not represent either of those fucking groups. You are a disgusting snake. I hate Nebraska, man. Used to date an El Salvadorian girl who was here on TPS. Back then, actual death squads were killing her family, though. Kind of different, yeah. I was like, I don't want to be against the TPS status for people actually having a reason to be in that status like that. But if you're gonna ignore all of the people taking advantage of it, fuck you, man. Absolutely fuck you. Stop this. This guy needs to lose his fucking seat wherever the fuck he was in Nebraska. What is it? Nebraska 2? I don't know if I have any people in my chat who live in Nebraska, because who the fuck lives in Nebraska? But if you do live there, vote this man out of his fucking seat. Don Bacon received $697,837 from IPAC during the 2023-2024 cycle. I wonder what the repercussions are for denying IPAC money. Your brother was in Haiti on the hurricane relief and the Marines when Hillary Clinton smuggled out all the kids. He said he watched a guy get crushed to death. What the fuck? Trying to catch a half-ton pallet of airdropped food. What the fuck? He is retiring and not running again? This is his fuck you tour? That's even worse. Why would you do this if you're retiring? Like, what kind of hate could you possibly harbor for the country that has given you everything? Apparently married to Angie, 4 kids, 8 grandkids, given you everything. U.S. Air Force retired, has been a representative for I don't even know how fucking long. Why would you do this to the American people? This man, in a functioning society, this man would be covered in tar and feathers. Dude was so greedy, the pallet of food killed him. Bahamut, thank you for the fucking Domino's deal, man. The people representing you hate you and want you dead. They can more easily replace you with more foreign workers. True and fucking real. He said it half a dozen times. You cannot begin to fathom how much boomers absolutely hate their offspring. I cannot, apparently. Like, this level of just, like, hating your countrymen and the generations below you is just, it's insane to me. Like, how do you get to this point, even? What the frick? The fuck you got mine attitude sickens you? It's just grotesque that he was like, oh, you've convinced me to fuck you over more. Actually. What was that one picture? Saturn eating his son? Yeah. Gamesh, thank you. He's not American, he's retired. He wants wage slaves for retirement. Don Bacon is gonna end up one of those people who gets stuffed in a fucking retirement home because his kids want nothing to do with him. Completely sell out your country and its future. Whoever's succeeding that guy in Nebraska better be a Republican. Get fucking involved. Get involved and get someone into his seat that's actually going to care about you and other Nebraskan people. Oh, here's another fucking retard talking about the TPS bullshit.
Dangerous, and it is preventable. To deport anyone to Haiti right now is unlawful, and it would be a death sentence. Dangerous.
I love how Democrats admit that a country is a third world shithole by saying it would be terrible to deport the natives back to their country. Like, it's offensive and awful when Trump just point blank says, yeah, that's a third world shithole. That's a shithole country. But Democrats, they're like, well, their country's a shithole, so we need to keep them here. I'm so fucking tired of it, man. Did you ever wonder why that country might be a shithole, and maybe you're importing people who will then make our country into a shithole too? Every time you think you hate the boomers, remember you don't hate them enough. The magic dirt. Yeah, she's bald, opinion discarded. Imagine listening to a fucking baldlet, dude. This is why you're moving to Asia. Make Asia great again. Don't do that. Oh, this was something I had a question about. All right, so I haven't looked into anything in regards to like gay people being able to adopt. It's just not something I guess I've looked too much into, but it seems like there's a lot of people completely against it. There's a special type of hell awaiting those who torture children to satisfy their ideological bent. Yes, this is emotional torture. The beautiful child deserves better. Where's humanity heading? What a disgraceful sight this is. The baby's being completely unreasonable and borderline ungrateful. This gotta be a fucking, this gotta be, yeah, this is a LARP account. There's no way. From the comments I've seen, Dada appears to be the most frequent first word babies say. It looks like the Dadas win this one, but that doesn't mean babies should be raised by two weird, confused men. What? What? Is this the same baby? All babies look the same to me. No, that's a different baby. That's a different baby. Mobius Sue, thank you for the 10 gift blankets on Kick, my guy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Big, huge. Jen Jacko, thank you. The concept of GDP go up has ruined Western civilization. True. They use it as an excuse for any policy they want to sneak past us. Also true. Battleizer, thank you. The boomer burn it all down is so fucking disgusting from people who had everything handed to them on a gold plate. Yeah, it's really, really gross. I hate it. But this video
Who do you want, Dada or Pop? No, Mama. Do you want Dada or Pop? Who do you want, Dada or Pop? No. Do you want Dada? You want Pop? No way, Jose. I think. Oh. There is no Mama. I'm so sorry. You have Dada and Pop. You have Pop. Two choices. No Mama. No. No Mama. Dada or Pop.
No, again, like I said, this is not really something I've looked into, but like watching this video, my brain is just saying to me, if you're holding a baby and it keeps wanting to say mama and it wants its mother and it gets intensely confused when you tell it no mama, that feels kind of fucked up to me. That feels like maybe, I don't know, I should take a pause and be like, am I doing something wrong? Is something wrong here? I don't know. It just feels a little strange, and I feel very bad for this child. It's heartbreaking trying to brainwash an infant. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. It's a really strange fucking video. Gay man named Shane McAnally. Jesus Christ. The baby knows something is wrong. It is fucked up. That kid remembers and wants his mother. How did they get the baby? So as a gay, if you want a baby, you basically buy it from a surrogate. Which, like, again, I guess would be an entirely different conversation because you would have to talk about the legality of buying a baby for everyone, because, like, there's a lot of people who use surrogacy. From the gay baby store! The baby's not gay! Glenn, thank you. Yeah, it's a sad video, and it just, like, I don't know. I just feel like if I was in this position, I guess I'd have to be a lesbian, right? And I was, like, bouncing a baby, and I was like, you got mama and mother? I don't know, I can't think of another word for mom. And then the baby keeps trying to, like, ask for its dad. I'm like, no dad, no male in-house. Like, I don't know. It just feels like something in my brain would be like, well, the baby keeps wanting its father. Am I doing something wrong? I don't know. It's strange. You don't teach your kid to call the other mother a MILF, okay? Most of the people abuse the babies too. I don't know about most, right? You'd have to look at statistics. Remember the UK gay couple who raped and filmed their abuse of the baby? There's been multiple of those articles, yes. There has been multiple articles like that, unfortunately. I remember the 2 lesbian moms that tortured and murdered their adopted son a week ago? Yes, I do. It's kind of fucking grotesque how people can do that kind of thing to children. I'm gonna be real. I think it's why everybody has, like, a visceral reaction to animal abuse as well, because children and animals, they can't defend themselves. They can't do anything. Not exactly. Gays actually buy the kid from the biological mother. Other couples get a surrogate that actually carries their biological offspring. Oh, I see what you mean. I was like, what the fuck? So, like, the surrogate in a normal situation would get, like, the egg and the sperm from the mother and father implanted into them. I get what you're saying. Dung is fun. No, it's not. Thank you. Even babies know there's a mom and a dad. Even babies. Ryfile, thank you. Kid's gonna be rented out in a few... Don't say that. That's disturbing. That's disturbing. Battleizer, thank you. The left,
So who gets locked up in gay baby jail? The gays or the baby? Shoutouts to Mr. Flips or whatever.
Hidden, thank you. You lock the cats in gay baby jail, obviously. You hate how these people make gays with children look bad? Yeah. Disturbing, yes. Statistically, though. Battleizer, thank you. The left far encourages this, and yet heralds our side is trying to bring about a Handmaid's Tale. We in Clown World, and there ain't no exit. Yeah, I really don't understand how they tried to make Handmaid's Tale into like a right-wing thing when it just seems like the left is doing everything possible to kind of usher in that world. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. And the Kirsches, they also go in gay baby jail. True. Massive Doge, thank you. Tim Poole saw this video and he seethed hard since he's a dad now. Yeah, there's just something about it that is like disturbing. And I can't exactly explain why it's disturbing, but it is a disturbing video. Like, it just makes me feel like something is viscerally wrong, you know? You just had a kid and you got the hormones going wild to program you into mothering, but hand that kid over, thanks. Oh no, there is an exit, but it's an uncomfortable conversation. It's one I'm not allowed to have, that's for sure. That's for fucking sure. I have so many more articles that we'll have to look at tomorrow, and I definitely want to play video game tomorrow, man. I have been on a fucking video game hook. I'm hooking for video games. Let me see, where is my Twitch tabs? How in the fuck is it 8 p.m. already, man? That should be illegal. Unironically. Babies literally cannot vocalize most vowels. Yup. Yep. Lady Takanashi, thank you. Parental instincts / cute reaction. I mean, I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. I just know that, like, you know, it's always a cute fight between mom and dad, whoever gets the first word. Could be mama, could be dada, you don't know. Baby's gonna say something at some point. Damn. There's people today. Oh, shit. Okay. I am going to raid into Asmon. He's playing that new father game that, like, Twitter freaks are screeching about it being pedophilia, despite it being, like, wholesome father-daughter kind of thing. I've seen a couple of clips of it, and I've seen the screechers. So this should be interesting. This should be interesting. Anthony, thank you. New Gamer Subs flavors raspberry orange. You're gonna use code Kirsche. Hell fucking yeah, that sounds delicious. Is that the brown dust collab one, or is that a different one? I'll have to look. Didn't I rate him last stream? I don't think I rated him last stream, did I? I don't think I did. I think I rated a lady last time. Even Honkin' Frères, thank you. You think it's disturbing because men seem amused by the baby's distress? Yeah, I guess that might be a reason why. That might be why. Mama's easier for babies to say. Is it? You bet if the MC was a gay man trying to get back his husband, the Twitter freaks would be all for him having the little girl robot. Man. On Tuesday, you think it was Asmon? You're pretty sure I rated him last stream? Oh, man. I wanna watch the Pragmata. Okay, I don't do it often, but I'm gonna double raid. It's been 2 days, you know, it's fine. Probably. I wanna watch the Pragmata! I wanna see if I might be interested in the game. And the Zirconis, thank you. Supposedly babies learn P sounds before M sounds, and M sounds before D sounds. So go for Papa if you wanna win. This is interesting. We're learning strats to baby's first word here. Pneumonia. Thank you guys for hanging out on this Tangent Friday. I'm gonna go devolve into a puddle of soup while my AC is broken. Unlucky. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night. Bye bye. Bye bye.